What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. This is the Monday Night Wave, and we are now in episode 17 of them things. You know what I'm talking about? 17 locks, 17 grabs, 17 headlocks, headbutts, choke slams, and power bombs. We got them things locked and loaded. I go by your host, Jay, or co-host Jay, a.k.a. Loner Beast, a.k.a. your babyface's babyface, the one and only. And without further ado, once again, we're going to pass it off to my tag team partner with this tag. Here we go. Bam. Take it away from here.
Man, thank you so much. And damn it, my host, because you are the host. He is being so humble, and that's why he's such a baby face. He is the host, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about Lona. But as far as who I am your mother's favorite co-host. Like, she literally goes to the bathroom and hides from the family just to listen to this audible chocolate, which is my voice. But dead ass, that was true. I am the king of gorgeous. I am the wild card. I am Mr. Sexy Ass Lottery. I am Hero, the co-host with the most. That's not original, but it's me. I'm here. And Loner Tonga, yeah. What do you want to pot about?
It's a great day to pot about wrestling, man. Let's talk about these graps, these raps. Let's talk about these shows that we got lined up. Jam-packed. It was a great week for fucking wrestling. We got a lot to talk about here.
Yep.
But before we get into that, we got a question. This week's question of the week. We haven't done these in a while, but this one was kind of interesting. If you could bring back any retired wrestler for one match, who would it be and who would it be against?
Word.
Mind you, I got a couple. So.
Okay. I'll go first because I literally only have one unless you answer... depending on this question I'm about to ask, which my question was, when you say retired, you mean alive and retired, or could I bring back someone from the dead?
It's tough. I was going more so retired and alive.
Okay, that's fine.
I just want to be respectful, you know.
Right? That could be a whole other question or a whole separate question. Wrestlers that passed that you would love to see wrestle someone in a modern day. That would be a whole other question.
Yeah.
Maybe not episode 18. You guys got to wait for it when we bring it up. Okay, cool. So I'll go first real quick. Because there's only one that really, truly came to my mind. And okay, real quick, another question. Is it them just coming out of retirement? I'm assuming it's just them like, oh, they're retired. They come back for a match similar to what Stone Cold did a couple Manias ago.
No. This is Prime versus Prime.
Oh,
best version versus best version.
All right, cool. Then mine's easy. I want Prime Shawn Michaels versus Seth Rollins.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a good one.
Whether it's 09 Shawn versus 2015 Seth.
Born Again Shawn?
Or even if it's like the original Heartbreak Kid with the glasses and the mullet, him and Seth, I'm here for it. A lot of people for a couple years, they one of the dream matches was HBK versus AJ Styles. I also would like that, but that's not what I'm going to choose for this particular question or segment. I'm going HBK, Seth Rollins.
The drip between both of them. That's where my head went. Like the attire between both of them. Like you put that in like 96, you know, in like a little small arena in San Antonio or something like that with the drip. Them boys probably they throwing the roof off that thing. Like blowing it out, bro. I like that. I like that one a lot. I do have Shawn Michaels on my list, but for some reason, Seth did not make one of my choices, which is crazy because that's a fucking genius match.
Thank you. Especially we're talking 2015 stuff, before the knee surgery.
Yeah, Prime versus Prime. That's the best. Is that Seth with the blonde streak?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That Yeah, there's a clip I'm thinking about right now where he does like the whole like jumping out the ring and then gets back in the ring. It was like Seth was on crack, bro.
Yeah, it was the Shield versus Shield versus the Wyatt. Was it Wyatt brothers? No, what was it? It was Wyatt
family.
Yeah, well, Jesus, man, you guys take my card. Yeah, it was the Shield versus Wyatt family. It's one of those clips that they resurface multiple times a year,
all the time, bro.
When the rents do, and they're like, man, look how good Seth Rollins was before his knee, and I'm like, Seth Rollins is still good. Don't you ever disrespect him.
He is. He shouldn't have been doing that shit anyway, bro. Like nobody's don't do that, bro. It was fire as fuck, but don't do that. You got to preserve your body, man.
Yeah, Roman. Roman almost yeeted in his pants in that clip.
Like, that's my dog. He was going.
That's my dog. Yeah, but yeah, that's my.
All right. I'm gonna start with. I got 5 of them.
Bet.
I think they're all pretty good. First one, I'm gonna go Prime RVD, Rob Van Dam versus Ricochet.
That's a banger.
I think I would enjoy that. Prime
RVD's
RVD
winning,
but make it a ladder match, and we got some shit going right there. Next one, I'm going APA, the Acolytes, yeah, Acolytes, versus FTR. Just old school, just wrestling, just 2 powerhouse teams going crazy. Shawn Michaels versus CM Punk.
Okay.
Like, just best of best. I want to see them two go, like the mic skills between Shawn Michaels and CM Punk. Like, who winning? Both of them got elite mic skills in promo game.
I'm gonna have to look back. I never considered Shawn Michaels an elite on the mic, but also I missed most of his prime. Like, most of the Shawn that I know is like right before he fake retired when he left DX the first time, and then after he came back a little bit early 2000s. But then I stopped watching wrestling. Like, I think I stopped watching wrestling like in 2003 or something like that. So I missed the Elimination Chamber.
So you missed
I missed a lot of the cool the Shelton Benjamin Sweet Chin
match. Smoker.
I know he is good on the mic. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm here for it. I
don't know what CM Punk could tell a 1995, 1996 Shawn Michaels. Like, what could you say to him to get him off his high horse?
Oh, if we're doing 1995, so pre-finding Christianity, you're just a piece of shit.
That's
you're a piece of shit.
What you gonna say?
Bret Hart. That's.
Oof, man, I need that tension.
That'd be fire.
I need that. Let's see. Oh, this is an easy one. Cactus Jack versus, you already know where I'm going with this, John motherfucking Moxley. I need Texas Death Match with the Cactus Jack and John Moxley. Oh, what? Yes, bro. Give it to me. Put it on a plate. I'm there, bro. That's heat. That's dope.
Oh, man, I hate to admit it, but yeah, that is dope. Put my money on Cactus Jack. Bang, bang, baby.
I got Cody Rhodes versus Kurt Angle. I think American Nightmare versus the Olympic gold medalist in heel Kurt. Like that 2005 Kurt, 2006 Kurt, where he is that guy.
Oh, aka Kurt Angle, I think.
Prior to TNA.
Oh, that was prior. Okay.
Yeah. Man, I mean, he was doing perks in WWE too. Like, that's what it was. But there was before the ECW run of Kurt Angle, like where he was just that guy. Give me that. I need to see Cody like sell an ankle lock. That's where my head went. I was like, how could Cody sell like an ankle lock or angle slam or Kurt taking Cody cutter? Just super dope.
Yeah, no, that would be fun. Shit, man. Give me Kurt versus Gable. Let me see son versus father. Goku versus Goten. That's what. Let me see that.
Man. And last but not least, we got this one somewhere in the dungeon. Bryan Danielson versus Bret Hart.
Ooh. Man, yeah.
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 Yeah, that'd be fire.
Give me that.
That'd be fire.
Yeah.
That's one of those. That's one of those AEW matches to where it's like it's a dream match. I would love a story because I'm more story prone, but honestly, that's one of those matches where it doesn't really need that much of a story. I just want to, I want to see some graps. But man, that would be a technical fucking
match, bro. That's what I'm saying. This was one of my favorite questions. I really sat down and thought about these. I was like, man, these will be great fucking matches.
Word. Yeah, no, that's fucking that's good. That's good. I'm here for it.
Yeah. I want to see him.
Oh, wait, real quick. I do have another one. I want Chris Jericho versus shit. That's right. He's not retired. We just want him to retire. It doesn't count, you guys. I'm sorry.
My goodness.
It doesn't count.
Oh my god. It was funny doing this. I was trying to think of like what would be a good match for Kenny. Like who would I want to see Kenny go against?
Angle.
And I almost put it on the list.
Michaels.
See, I was thinking. I don't know if they mix, but I was thinking John. Like Cena versus Omega.
Oh, dude, that would be fucking heat.
That's like I was like cleaner Kenny, like heel Kenny versus prime time babyface John Cena. Like that's fucking money, bro. Like, and John can work. Like Cena, don't get it twisted. Cena can work with anybody, and so can Kenny. But that's why I was like, man, I don't know. Like, would people want to see that? Like, would they want to see John Cena versus Kenny Omega?
I think that'd be fire, especially if we're talking. Not to give it away, but we have another question that's going to come up in a future episode. But if we're talking like fucking, even just like slightly older Cena, like 2016, after he won the U.S. title and he was in those open challenges, like that versus prime Tacoma Dome, not Tacoma, Jesus fuck Tokyo Dome, cleaner. That would be that would be fire. And neither like. That could be a face versus face match, and like Kenny could play a little heelish, but like that could easily just be a good face versus face match.
Yeah,
you don't even need a full heel for it. Like V Trigger versus V Trigger slash fucking what's that move? The Final Fantasy move? The
One Winged Angel.
Yeah, One Winged Angel. One Winged Angel versus the fucking FU. The AA, the STF, and when he when he was in his 2016 bag, he pulled out a Hurricanrana. He pulled out some other shit.
I saw there's a clip. This motherfucker did like a Spanish fly or some shit like that. Like, like Cena was doing some shit. I was like, yo, I didn't know you was moving like that, Cena.
Yeah, no, between like 14 and 16, Cena was like that. That's when we had a during pull back the curtain a little bit when we were talking about like people who had bags, like. And I was like, yeah, Cena had a bag, especially 2016-15 Cena. Like, he had a bag. He did a Poison Rana. Like, shit like that. Cena had a bag.
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah. Dope question. I want to hear what y'all got. Yo, like, if y'all hear this, we're going to post this one on socials, too, because I think this was a great fucking question. I'm curious to see, like, who's y'all matches. If you can bring back any retired wrestler from one match, who would it be and who would it be against? Let us know in the comments. We're gonna put it on socials. Let us know there too, because we're definitely interested in seeing like what you guys got.
Okay. Surprise one. MJF versus Stone Cold.
Man. Oof.
I don't know why. It just came to mind.
Bro. The heat and like once again the mic skills, because Stone Cold will grill you up too, but MJF gonna grill you back. Like, ooh, yeah, give it to me. Stone Cold versus MJF for sure. Yeah, I need that. Before we get into the news, let's go over. I went to the Collision show this past Thursday out here in the PDX, and I got some takeaways from it. It wasn't a bad show. It was a great show. I think the only thing that I could take away that I kind of didn't like was that it was a later show. Doors open like 6, so show didn't start to like 6:45, 7, and you had like 3 hours of like wrestling, so like you didn't get out of there to like 10:30, whatnot. I definitely wish it was like maybe like a 4 p.m., 5 p.m. would have been cool. Other than that, like it was
It was a AEW. It was a Dynamite / Collision or what?
Collision / Rampage.
Okay.
So yeah, you got 3 hours of wrestling. The matches that were happened this episode, we had Bryan Danielson and FTR versus Lance Archer and the Righteous. That was a good fucking match. I enjoyed seeing that. I wasn't, because the thing about the Collision lineup, you didn't know what it was because it's pre-taped. Right. So you knew about maybe 1 or 2 matches, but it wasn't like you knew the whole like lineup. Usually I know like the match card, I can kind of get hyped about who's showing up. So some of these I didn't even know that I didn't even know that they were even like appearing at this show. But yeah, Bryan Danielson, FTR, Lance Archer and the Righteous, or versus Lance Archer and the Righteous, dope fucking match. Johnny TV versus Hook. It was cool to see John Morrison out there. I love seeing John Morrison. I think he's a phenomenal fucking talent. Hook came back, and seeing Hook come back, because this is like right in the beginning of him just appearing after he had appeared on this week's episode of Dynamite. So this was his first match back, or second match technically. Cassidy versus Orange Cassidy, so the Cassidys versus each other. Didn't catch that first. Brian Keith versus Boulder, Serena D versus Anna Jay, Jack Cartwheel versus Nick Wayne, Shibata versus Rocky Romero, Deonna Purrazzo versus Robin Renegade, Kyle O'Reilly versus Lee Moriarty, and then Anthony Bowens versus Brian Cage, which was the main event for Rampage. Quick little takeaways that I got. Prior to like the show, they threw on some ROH matches, and we got to see the return of Anthony Henry, who was from the Workhorsemen. So he was the one who got broke his jaw. He's back working, which is great. Huge pop for the Workhorsemen. They actually had one of my favorite matches this week. It's probably number 2 or number 3 this week, but them versus Angelico and Serpentico was a really dope fucking match. Yeah, if you can find that one on the ROH like archive, definitely check that one out, because that was a really good fucking match. It should probably be out either this week or next week.
You might have to use a VPN for it, but I'll find it.
Yeah, do so. Whatever you got to do it. It was a good match. I love that.
That's what's up.
Ospreay is just as crazy on TV as he is in person. He ended up doing like a Stormbreaker on Shane Taylor, and Shane Taylor's no small dude. That man's like 300 plus. He had that dude on the shoulder and just flipped him over. I was like, yo, that shit was fucking insane.
I literally just saw that clip like 20 minutes ago.
That shit was fucking nuts, bro.
It was nice.
Yeah, he opened up Collision, I believe. He opened up Collision, which was great. It was great energy to go into. Biggest fucking takeaway for me, Shibata's the real deal. Now, I say this in the sense of like, I watch Shibata on TV and he's good. But watching him in person, I've never been so glued to a match. Like all sound, this sounds dramatic, but all sound was just, I didn't pay attention to what anybody was saying around me. I was just locked in on like the Shibata versus Rocky Romero match. Like, he's good. Like, he's really good, really smooth, really fluid, very technical, but he's very fucking sound in the ring, man. Definitely caught a huge fan in me for sure. Brian Keith had a dope match, and then after the match, they gave him the sitting sideways. I didn't know I was going to hear it like in person, but seeing Brian Keith kind of like leave the ring with the sitting sideways was like huge pop, because I didn't know that they were going to play the song. I'm assuming that like they probably cut to like commercial and then played his theme song. That way you don't get hit with the copyright. I may be snitching right now. My bad if I'm blowing you up. But it was really dope to see him go out to sitting sideways. And Nick Wayne is the truth. Nick Wayne is just as good as people say he was. I've seen him twice now. The first time I was like, okay, I wasn't really too sure. The second time I've seen him, the boy's good. So at Forbidden Door 2030 or 2035 or whatever it is down the line, I need Nick Wayne versus Javon Evans. Give me that. I don't know how we're going to do it. Maybe we get a partnership. Maybe the Cons figure something out. But I need them to go at it. Give me that on the plate for sure, because that would be great fucking money to see.
Fuck it. Let's make a tag match. Ospreay and Nick Wayne versus Javon Evans and Ricochet.
Yeah. There, that's it right there. Forbidden Door. Come on. Oh, Nick Khan, Tony Khan. Let's make this money, man. 2035. You just get all your beef out now, and then like in 2030, y'all can like hug like Drake and Meek did. Yeah. Overall, I enjoyed the show. I think it was great. Pacing could have been a little bit better. It was definitely slower at times. And also both like all three shows have different feels to them.
Yes.
Dynamite would be your more fast paced. Let's just go. It's TV time. Let's move. Collision is your wrestler's show. That's where you're going to see the most like graps and raps and all that holds and shit like that.
Slower wrestling.
Slower wrestling for sure on Collision,
but still fast paced. Just not sprinting.
It's more. I don't want to say technical, but I think it is. I think it's more technical wrestling happening on Collision. I'm pretty sure they did that by design because I remember like that was the whole thing with Punk and his show was Collision, and he wanted to have more wrestling on that show.
Right? Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be quote unquote spot fest. All the buzz.
And there wasn't a lot of spots, but it was really good fucking wrestling.
Weird.
And then Rampage is just a really weird spot because you get a little bit of both. You get some fast paced spot fest, and then you also get like real technical like wrestling as well.
Rampage is kind of like their main event right now.
Yeah.
It replaced Dark.
It did, and I miss Dark. By the way, I love Dark and Dark Elevation. That was my favorite things to watch on YouTube because like I didn't have to be thoroughly invested, and I could just pop it on, like just go do the dishes or whatever, and just turn around and see like, oh, it's Willow having a squash match with somebody from a local like promotion and shit like that. Like AEW Dark and Dark Elevation was probably really honestly very important for my like fandom for AEW. Like if I didn't watch Dark and Dark Elevation, I don't know if I'd be that big of a fan.
And it gave some of the talent that doesn't get Dynamite time chances to get reps. And also it was also like, and this was one of the things I disliked about Dark. So I would say it's a faux pas, but also it kind of made sense to where when they used to do the rankings, Dark was kind of like, if you need to rack up 5 quick ass wins so that when you're on Dynamite and you're challenging for a title, it makes sense because we're talking about wins and losses. Then like that's what Dark was for. Like when John Moxley finally got his like title shot versus Jericho, it was like all of a sudden if you're just watching Dynamite, he had like 1 win, and all of a sudden it's like 6 wins. What the fuck happened? It's because he's fighting on Dark. And that part was the negative part, but it was also the good part in the sense where it's like it helps with them building the story based off of these wins and losses, but it was also the negative part because it's like you have one of your biggest stars just doing a bunch of random squash matches on YouTube. There was pros and cons to it, but Dark and Dark Elevation actually like that's where you could see an Abaddon consistently, or you could see some of these other people and you didn't have to pay a random subscription to some shit, like because it was literally just on YouTube. So it was easier to see some of these people.
Even with like some of the talent that needed tape to get to like WWE, they did some dark matches and Dark Elevation matches. And that's what got their foot in the door for like, NXT and stuff like that. And even going overseas, if I'm not mistaken, I think, was it Bia that just got called up to SmackDown? She was
who?
No, who got called up to SmackDown? Blair got called up to SmackDown, and she did some matches on like AEW Dark and was on AEW for a little bit, and like then took that and went over to the UK and then came back and did NXT.
Yeah, she's in NXT UK and then NXT, and then now she's finally.
Yep.
Yeah. And there was a couple people. More than a couple,
but fucking Willow. Like I saw Willow on Dark. I saw her literally ground zero, no contract, wrestling on AEW Dark to now Willow is TNT champion or TBS champion. And to be honest, like that's what makes me so happy about Willow is that I witnessed the starter from the bottom. I seen you get your reps in and seeing you like, okay, she's good, but like, she's a little rough. She has to work on, certain move sets and mic skills and, you know, selling and shit like that, and to see where she's at now, like, I'm probably one of the biggest Willow fans possible. You can never see me say anything crazy about Willow because Willow's fucking great.
And just to piggyback off what you're saying, this is why when people shit on NXT and shit, it doesn't make any sense. Because what you just said is that you saw her on Dark, literally just a YouTube show, and since then you've seen her growth into where she's a champion on the main show, and she's on the TV frequently. It's very similar to when NXT 2.0 started. And we see a Braun, we see a Carmelo, we see a Tiffany Stratton, and they look green as fuck. They look new as shit. And now all three of those people, they're all on main shows now. And in fucking Tiffany, Tiffany and Braun, they only been wrestling for 3 years or so. It helps. As much as people hate to admit it, it doesn't matter what the promotion is. It helps to have an area to where people can get reps, especially if you don't do house shows consistently and shit like that. It helps to have a quote-unquote PC. Like Dark and Dark Elevation actually really did help some of these talent.
I'll go a step forward. It helps to have it taped and filmed. So you can see like, oh, the crowd didn't really react to that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should work on that. Maybe I should do a different taunt. Like, what can I do to make the crowd pop and whatnot? Because I would assume that as a wrestler, one of the biggest things that you want is crowd interaction, whether that's like cheering or booing. You don't want a silent crowd. A silent crowd means that nothing is like working, and that's not what you want in the business, I would assume. I don't know shit, but that's what I think.
That, from all the interviews that we could ever look up, silent crowds and go away heat are probably the two worst kinds of shit. Like what Jericho has right now is go away heat. Like, it's not like, oh no, we're not booing him like how we boo Dom or whatever. No, like, motherfuckers literally want him to go the fuck away. It's not the same as a Miz or early MJF or again like a Dominic. It's like, no, we need this nigga to go away. And then there's moments where it's like you come out, you hit the ramp, and no one makes a sound because you're not interested. Your music is ass, and we don't like you. Like, those are probably the two worst.
Speaking of heat and boos and go away heat, at this show, Trent Beretta is getting booed out the fucking building. That man has heat, bro. And I was like, okay, I understand. Like, Trent, he's a heel right now. You're not supposed to like the heel. Nah, fuck that. Them people in Portland were like, fuck Trent Beretta. We don't fuck with him. He's getting booed out the goddamn building. And it felt good because I was like, damn, he's working. It works. He's living in what he wants, and that's to be the fucking bad guy. And then second, on Go Away Heat, there's a very interesting promo that happened on, I think it was either Rampage. It might have been Collision. A very interesting promo from a superstar I wanted to see. Mr. Scorpio Sky has a very learning tree kind of promotion.
Sweet Christmas. Okay, I did not know about this, but I will say this, though. This is the second or third time in our 17 episodes that we spoke some shit into existence, because it was literally it was either last episode or the episode before. I was like, Scorpio Sky is a name I haven't heard in like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And then we had the moment where you asked, like, please give us a Malachi Black single match. And then we finally got one literally the week after. Haven't had one since, but we spoke it.
We'll get one in next week, right? We'll get one next week. We'll get another one.
Yeah.
So
man, two single matches in a single calendar year. Hey, it's up.
2 single matches in 17 episodes of the pod? Bro, we cooking. We know what we're talking about. Yeah, he has a very learning tree promotion or promo. He didn't tag. It wasn't like affiliated with Jericho yet, but it was very positive, very like, I can't wait to come back. It was very unlike him and very cheesy and like, ugh, bro, like, what are you doing? If Scorpio Sky becomes part of the learning tree, I'm in. I'm already like kind of half in because I think this is kind of interesting. The way Jericho's playing this angle, but if he brings in Scorpio Sky, I'm in.
I'm out. I mean, I'm already
That's
out,
my
but
guy.
I'm out for the.
That's my guy.
You can't be away from TV for like almost 3 years, and then you join Jericho, the succubus, the charisma vacuum at this moment. He was supposed to be our first Black AEW champion. He
should be dead.
And now you're going to team up with Jericho?
Not
I mean,
wrong.
and now Ethan Page is going too. So yeah. But, this is probably the only direction he has. And I bet Jericho's like, "Hey, brother, people already think I'm racist, and you're talented, so join me, join my tree, brother, join my tree."
Nah,
man.
he'd come out and call this man like, I don't know, like a maple tree or some shit. I'm gonna fucking lose it. What's the blackest tree you can find? Which one got the best switches? I shouldn't say that.
Man, I was about to say no. Let's
No. Go get away from this. Get away from this. It's dirty.
Yeah, because I was about to make a fucking slave joke, and I'm like, no,
get away from this. It's dirty. Get away. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Where was your wife at January 6th, Jericho? You tell us this.
Fucking shit.
Anyway.
Yeah. Let's get into this Monday. Let's talk about Raw.
Oh wait, we still got to do the news, which is really quick.
Oh yeah, we didn't do news. My bad. Yeah. Let's jump in the news.
So not much news this week. It was a pretty slow week, but we do have more injury updates. That's some of the biggest.
That
news.
bug is floating.
Yeah, it's floating. So Athena, aka or FKA Ember Moon. Athena is injured. It's a left leg injury. I do not know the time, time of return, but it seems serious. Or severity. But that's unfortunate. And it's one of those things where, I mean, we talked about it before, but she should be on the main show. I don't know why she's just on ROH, because she's one of the better workers in the company as a whole.
Could be a travel thing. Could be like a, not necessarily like travel, like being a hindrance, but more so like work-life balance. Maybe she prefers this to like, maybe be at home with her family. I don't know what the case may be. I would assume it's more so on something that she wants to do rather than like her being held down on ROH. Because she's had the title for years. She's been ready to go up. If that was the case, you could also have her dropped it to like Sheeta. Like there's moments where she could have dropped it and moved up at any given time.
I agree and disagree. I agree because I feel like if it wasn't her thing, she would complain on Twitter about it. But also, I don't follow her on Twitter anymore, so I don't know. But the reason why I slightly disagree, and I don't want to pull the racial card, but I don't know. There's something with TK to where he put, like, for example, Queen Anamata. We had her on TV from February till maybe mid-March. She hasn't been on Dynamite since. She's only been on ROH. Athena was on Dynamite for a couple weeks. I know
because Amanada has some really good matches in ROH. I remember watching her through the whole like ROH like women's TV title, TV championship. Like she had some very solid matches.
Right. So you should put her on your main show. Same with Athena. Athena is one of their best female workers. She should be on the main show.
Amanada, I think more so like character work and just like, growth. So let me see you have like, these reps and whatnot.
There's no reason why she should I don't know when the last time we saw the bunny, but there's no reason why the bunny should be on Dynamite and Queen or Athena isn't.
That's a good question. I don't know when the last time I've seen Bunny actually wrestle.
I think she's been injured for a while too. And again, like every company's injury prone, and you have some of your best workers on a show that no one watches. It just makes no sense. Like,
that's not true. People watch ROH.
Yeah.
You can't. It's the same thing for like NXT. People watch NXT too.
Right, but NXT is on a show or a station to where it's easily accessible. ROH is getting less views than Rampage, and Rampage is their worst show as far as if we're talking about like how many views they get. And you have two really great workers that happen to be black, and they're on the show that's not on TV. Again, I'm not trying to pull the race card. I'm just saying it's questionable in the light. because you'll have like we got Willow. Willow's great. Britt's been gone. Britt's protege who had the belt. I can't think of her fucking name. Or no, Paige. No, it's
Jamie
not Paige.
Hayter.
Jamie Hayter. She's been gone.
Injured.
Sheeta's gone. Nyla has not really been on Dynamite, so it's like your work woman. Like they've been working the fuck out of Mariah May. Like Mariah May is working like she's been working, and I like Mariah May, but it's like why? Like I don't know. It's just one of the things. I don't want to get into a roster conversation, but TK isn't balancing his roster correctly. It just does like he has a lot of good talent. It's very similar to like 2019, 2018 WWE where people are like, man, they're hoarding talent and they have so much talent and a lot of these motherfuckers are just in catering, and it's hitting the same thing to where it's like why are we only seeing Sky Blue and Red Velvet and Mariah May on a weekly basis? And so a lot of times they're either jobbing or just beating jobbers when we also could have a Queen or an Athena or, Cetra. Like, luckily Diana has been on TV. She's escaped the ROH Shadow Realm so far. But there's a lot of women who have it. And then Nyla's been gone.
The Bunny is no longer on AEW.
Okay, so I guess they just didn't renew her contract. That's wild.
Yeah, Tony has a good problem, but also a very big problem is talent. Super fucking stacked roster with only 5 hours of wrestling on TV. I would assume that like he definitely does, and I would assume that with this whole like WB deal coming up, Warner Bros. Discovery deal, actually. You're probably working on something there. Whether that's, maybe switching shows around, maybe adding more time, maybe we do see the return to maybe Dark or something like that coming on like the streaming services and whatnot. But yeah, we have to get something popping here. Maybe some kind of superstar shakeup. It's been 5 years. Maybe we can like see certain talent and certain like rivalries and whatnot. Especially on his women's side. His women's roster is so fucking stacked, bro. It makes no sense.
They have a lot of people, but they only put like 5 mostly on Wednesday. And then as far as the other 2 shows, some of them will show up, but a lot of them are mostly on ROH. And that's again like yes, ROH has a fan base, but it's not it's not like a Dark to where I can just go on YouTube and watch ROH. Like that's a paid subscription, or if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
like,
hopefully, like with the Discovery deal, like we can get that. Maybe they move ROH over to Warner Bros. Discovery. Maybe that's on Max or whatever. Like maybe that would help out to where you can like, hey, I can watch all AEW and ROH at one place,
which would be beneficial, and I would like that also. I didn't put this on a docket. Because I didn't think we'd bring it up, but like honestly, this Warner Brother deal that's been in the wind for literally like 2 years now, it's to me it's looking scary in the light, and the reason why it's looking scary in the light is because we're talking about Warner Brothers, they're on the fence right now of re-signing NBA on TNT, and that has been one of their biggest money makers for like a couple decades now. So like they have not re-signed Chuck, Shaq, and them. If they don't re-sign...
No. They were getting outbid on Shaq and them. It's not that they don't want them. They want to keep them. They're just getting outbid. They don't have the money that like, Amazon is shelling out. That's the thing with the Warner Bros. Deal is that it's not necessarily, we don't want to re-sign them. Like they're too much. Like, fuck no. They want to keep that. It's just they're getting outbid by the NBA rights. So like, whoever gets the NBA, let's say Amazon gets the NBA, that's completely separate from, the Shaq and Ernie and Chuck show. That's their own, that's a Warner Bros. Thing. So they won't necessarily move to Amazon, which is why there's been the reports of if they do disband, Ernie was just going to stay with Warner Bros. And just figure something else out to where the rest of them weren't going to like work on Amazon. I think Shaq already said like he's not moving over there. It's more so just a money thing. Like, you can't compete with Bezos like that. That's a different kind of pocket right there, and that's where they're kind of like running the issues in. And side tangent. It's just from wrestling aside. I'm sick of it because now we got NFL games on Peacock, Amazon, NFL Network, or Red Zone or whatever. It's like there's so many different fucking services, bro. I just want to flip on. Okay, cool. Yep. Chiefs versus the goddamn Falcons. I'm good. And but now we're getting to this world.
Yeah, and then every couple months, like I don't know if you saw it, but there was another like, oh man, it was Disney Plus, Hulu, and I think it was Max, or so, it was either Max or Paramount.
They're like combining or whatever.
You're talking about cable? Yeah, we're going back to cable. Man, fuck! I didn't think this would happen until we were like 48, but it's like happening so quickly. It's like, oh, we're gonna get our own streaming service. Everyone gets their own streaming service. Fucking 2 years later. What if we combined a couple? And then a year after that, what if we combined like 5 of them? Oh, so Comcast again. Okay.
And it's sick because it's even sicker because now it's like Comcast was kind of like, we were working with certain like channels and programs and whatnot. Now it's just like, oh, well, Disney owns ESPN, Fox, and all this. We'll just put this in the bundle and there you go. It's now making more money for the single entity, like owners of multiple fucking programming. That's the scary part is that like it's monopoly. But to go back to what you're saying, the Warner Bros. Deal, from my perspective, I think like that kind of works out in their favor for AEW. Is that if you don't get Chuck in them, that's 2 hours of TV that opens up. We got to fill that up with something. And what better than your own wrestling program that has done fairly well for 5 years.
It's done fairly well, but the last 2 years it's been the ratings have been going down and down to where now, like it used to be, their consistent number used to be 900,000, and now the consistent number, like they're lucky to break 700.
But that's not I don't think that's an AEW issue. I just think that's a TV and entertainment issue in general. I think that even to some aspect, you say WWE numbers were down too. It's like, bro, nobody's paying attention. Nobody the attention span is fucking fucked right now. Like, you don't know what you want to watch, when you want to watch it, how you want to watch it. Like, you'll get home from work and be like, damn, I could start this episode of X-Men 97, but I'm not even in the headspace for that right now. I'll just wait. I'll hold off on like a Sunday or whatever, and then I'll go back and watch it. It's just that's just how shit is right now.
Y'all need to finish that show. Please finish that show.
I do. I'm finishing tonight. Please finish. I think I got like 2 episodes.
And you're not wrong in saying that. But as far as if we're talking about WWE, obviously they're a juggernaut. They're a machine. Their 2 main shows still get 1 million views per week. Their lowest show is NXT, and at this point, AEW is only 100,000 away from doing NXT numbers. But we're
competing with the longest running Monday night programming. A 5-year company doing that is fucking crazy, bro.
They're not competing though. They don't. There's no. I mean, they're competing. They want to seem like, but they're not competing. They're not competing in the sense they're not being counter programmed. So unless there's no other wrestling on Wednesday. So yes, there's obviously sports and shit, but other
in the aspect of numbers,
yeah,
because we're bringing up like the ratings between the viewership between 2 brands, the 2 different wrestling programs.
Well, I wasn't necessarily trying to compare them.
With Raw.
No,
Raw is Raw, bro.
Right, when that was TNA's downfall.
That shit been on since UPN. Like you can't compete. Like the fuck. I think a fair assessment for AEW's and who their numbers should be is like you said NXT, and even then kinda. NXT's been running a little bit longer. Like it's like
AEW consistently beats NXT. I wasn't
in a weird era though.
Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to make a 1-for-1 or 1-on-1 comparison because again, Raw's been on as long as the fucking Simpsons has been on, if not a little less.
Fuck.
And like you said, SmackDown's been on since UPN. But it's like, if we're just talking about AEW and we're just talking about Dynamite, they consistently used to get 900, close to 1 million on a consistent basis. And within the last couple years, it's dwindling. And if we're just talking about 2024, they've only hit 700 twice. And it was a big deal when they first hit 900. Because I remember the first time they hit 800,000, it was a huge deal. It was what the fuck? Okay, let's step some shit up. and and they did. They got Punk, all this other stuff. Like there was a point in time where they were beating the fuck out of WWE. They weren't beating them as far as like the million mark with Raw, but they were beating them in money, popularity. Like niggas was really fucking with this shit, especially after that one SummerSlam.
Vince,
yeah, that
like
too.
Vince truly ran WWE into the ground, which is what birthed my AEW like fandom. Because I was just tired of seeing Vince programming. But I think what AEW should do, and they kind of do it. I won't say better, but I will say very fucking. They might do a little bit better. Pay-per-views. They need to throw all in on WB or Warner Bros. Or Max or whatever, and start doing your pay-per-views on Max. I think that's what's going to lure people in because those are their best shows. I think if you can get your best shows off of fucking Bleacher Report and or somebody's VPN or whatever, Fight TV, whatever the case may be, and get that into like the American like household like immediately, you're good. It's like it's hard. Like nobody's getting Bleacher Report, bro. Like nobody wants to watch it on Bleacher Report.
Honestly, I don't think you're wrong, but I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's the pay-per-views, which is why they haven't found a streaming service yet, because that's where they're making most of their money. Like one of their biggest crutches is like anytime someone's like, "Oh, you're down in this area," they bring up, but Wembley, or they'll bring up, but look at Revolution with Sting's retirement. Like, so it's like they're getting honestly, most of their shit does come from the pay-per-views, and I mean, obviously, we're neither one of us are agents. We're not in TV or anything, but I think that's one of the reasons why they haven't found a streaming service yet. Because it's like if most of our money is coming from the pay-per-views, then I need if most of my money is coming from pay-per-views, and we only do pay-per-views every fucking 5 months. We're about to do it. We're about to go to every month now. But if why am I going to sell my shit to a streaming service that's going to pay us less, as opposed to when I do a pay-per-view and then I'm getting, I don't know, let's just say 600,000 buys and each buy is $50. I'm making more. Yeah, no, I'm making more. Yeah, I just feel like you're making more money. That I don't know. I think it's a double-edged sword thing. I think it might be. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think you're right.
It can be if your product is bad. What I feel like is that if they do it on Max and get the pay-per-views on Max or whatever, Max also does a really good job at getting you everywhere else. AEW's thing is only the true diehard fans really know about AEW, the people who hate WWE, and that's been like their core fan base for forever. I think that if you get on Max to where now everybody sees you, we can throw MJF in a Max promo or commercial or whatever and run that so that people know and you're out there, you're good. The only commercials or stuff I see for AEW is on its network, on TNT or TBS, when I'm at work or whatever. To whereas WWE has the UFC partnership. They've had fucking USA for a while. They've been running shit on TV for years now, decades at this point. I think that's where AEW has to get their foot in the door, is with partnering with said Max and getting their shit just out there. Because they really don't have that major corporation push I've seen in WWE.
I feel it.
Another part of the news that we got, we're gonna just blow through this real quick. AEW is doing Eddy Kingston broke his leg, so Eddy Kingston is out for sure. That also goes over into AEW because we have a surprise return to replace Eddy Kingston.
Can't wait to talk about
Ivar is injured, and people thought it was a work, but he came out and said that it's a very serious injury. He hasn't got surgery yet or nothing like that, but he is looking to come back.
Yeah.
So shout out to Ivar. Hopefully, Ivar, you rest up, man. You've been working your ass off. You proved to a shit ton of people that you really know what the fuck you're doing. And you can do it without being in the tag team spotlight. So shout out to him.
Yeah, no, shout out to Ivar.
Saudi had came out and said they would like to get a Mania or a Royal Rumble in 2026. And I it's funny because I put some in the group chat to where, man, like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want
to. We ain't got to talk about it. You can literally just. I'm supposed to be the heel on this show. We ain't gonna even bring that.
Yeah, I just have some thoughts about, like, you know, just having, like, you know, these women out there in these Saudi shows, especially in like Mania where there's going to be, or Rumble where there's going to be a lot of them. Like, that just feels a little odd to me. Same thing with like Mania. These are like the biggest careers for career moments for some of these women, and I don't know how that really would like translate very well.
Yeah,
I don't know.
As far as Saudi goes, they already had a Rumble, and it was the quote unquote greatest Rumble, and that's when Braun won that fake ass belt.
That's the one when Titus like flew into the ring.
Yeah, but no. As far as a real Royal Rumble, I mean, look, we can be political. We can be liberal. We could protest. We could do all these things. At the end of the day, it's a corporation, and more than likely, they will chase the bag, especially if the bag is right. And as far as the talent goes, that bag would definitely be right for them. Granted, like, yeah, it sucks to like the women wrestlers. They have to be fully clothed in this country because all these other stupid rules and shit. But you know, they're still getting a payday and stuff. So and it would be a big payday because, you know, pay-per-views are going to pay more than a house show or more than just a regular Raw. So there are ups to that. But if they legitimately got a Royal Rumble or a Mania, I'm not for it. I don't like, money wise, it would be great for the talent. Money wise, it would for sure be great for the corporation. But as far as the big four pay-per-views go, like, we see like the company is so hot right now that fans are traveling. Fans are going to these other places. I can't imagine too many fans from whether it's Europe or America wanting to go to Saudi. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, but let's just say possible. I've never seen green shirt at a Saudi show. But granted, I've only watched one Saudi show, and that was like literally this last year. So, or the very last one. I don't really watch the Saudi shows like that. But I can't imagine green shirt or Trinidad man being there. You know, I can't imagine some of the like, you know, someone like Stephanie Hypes in the women's wrestling community, journalist stuff, being able to, or I wouldn't say being able, but traveling there and being super comfortable. Maybe she could. She has a pool. She's a great talent. But I don't know. I just feel like it. I don't know. That's something you should wait until maybe 2030. Maybe when women have more rights there. Like, they just started being able to drive like 4 years ago. So maybe we should wait a little longer until we give them a big show, such as a Mania. Because you're also talking about celebrity guests too. So it's like, well, you're gonna bring Snoop Dogg to Saudi, or, you know, like, you're gonna bring all these, you know.
The E's going to do what the E wants to do, which is make the bag. But I'm going to say not all money is good money. And if you don't understand that, maybe you understand my next reference, which is make the money. Don't let it make you. Shout out to Players Club. We now are going to get into our weekly recap, people. It is time to get into Monday Night Raw.
All right.
Yeah, you want to take it away?
Oh, sure. I'll start it off. Okay, so the show starts off with one continuous shot of Drew McIntyre to start the show. As he's coming out, we get a shot of the crowns. Both of the crowns look really good. They both look awesome. Punk isn't here. So yeah, Drew says, because, you know, the crowd is going to chant like CM Punk against Drew, and he's like, yeah, Punk isn't here. He only shows up to the big towns, brother. CM Punk, one of the cool lines he had is CM Punk's greatest trick ever is Greatest trick he's ever pulled is looking like a drug addict without taking any drugs. That was a good bar.
Crazy.
Yeah. It was a good shot. I feel like that's a shot that he should have said a couple of weeks ago, but it's regardless. It's a good shot. Says Punk is he's the real one that's running, which he's not lying about that. But then Damian Priest comes out, and Damian cuts his best promo on the main roster in this showing. So yeah, Priest comes out. He comes out after Drew calls him a paper champion, which is similar.
Champion.
Yeah, which is similar to him calling him a transitional champion. It's just like, he's the champ for now. He's the champ because they had a briefcase and they had to use it. But yeah, Priest comes out and he's like, man, you say a lot of shit, but say some shit to people's face. And Drew's like, I would say some shit to Punk's face, but Punk keeps leaving. It's like, Punk ain't the only one that you talking shit about, my nigga. You say some shit to my face, bro. You deserve all the success in the world. You just don't deserve the title. And that's what Drew said to him, which, that it was a good line. And it definitely, I feel like it was one of those lines that, if that was said to me, that would sting. Didn't like it. Also, the crowd kept chanting what, and he was like, say what if he's a BS champ? And they said what, and he's like, laughing, see, I got you, I got that. Similar to what him and Dakota have done the last 2-3 weeks. Then we get, and then his rebuttal was like, I'm still champ, which is not a lie. I don't, who gives a fuck what?
Yes, I don't even remember where
I don't even remember where they were for this Raw, but who gives a fuck what these people are talking about? They're gonna say what because they're stupid Americans, and we just love to say what for whatever fucking reason during the show. Then Damian says, I would love to fight you. I would have loved to have. Okay, so this is when shit gets real, and this is when Damian's in his bag, and to me, again, his best promo on the main roster because one, he didn't stumble. His breath control was really good. And he was saying some real shit. And he's like, man, I would have loved to have fight you at Mania. I tried to cash in on several occasions, and you prevented me from doing it. If it wasn't for you, I would have already been champion, and we could have fought at fucking Mania.
He's like, I could have cashed in on Seth, but you stopped that.
He stopped it 3. I want to say for sure 3 times. For sure twice, but maybe 3. You stopped me. You stopped me. We could have been fought. And then, I wrote Priest is cooking this nigga because he was. And then Priest was like, yeah, man, when you're cleared, you have a match. But yeah, until then, all rise, my nigga, because you just a hating ass motherfucker.
I don't really have any thoughts about this in particular. I think for me, it's just more so what is the angle that we're going? We had talked about last week to where Drew's whole thing is going against Punk, but we don't know when or how long Punk is going to be out for. And so I guess this week is what are we doing? Is Drew about to beef with Priest for a little bit until Punk comes back? Does Punk end up sabotaging Drew against Priest at some point?
Probably.
What's the angle here? Because I'm only slightly getting fatigued was just where are we going post Mania? I think only throughout the show or just Raw in general, we only have one true storyline, and it's the one that happened impromptu, which was the Becky getting the championship, and now she has a storyline with Liv and shit like that. So I just want to know where are we going. That's my focus in the next couple weeks with WWE program is what stories are we trying to tell, and have they been told before? Because I want to see Priest get some solid reps and solid reign or matches and just story and shit like that.
Yeah.
Majority we could have picked somebody else to go against Priest to kind of let Drew figure out what the fuck Drew's doing, and then Priest can maybe be on the side, and Priest is beefing with I don't know, anybody. Oh, Priest is beefing with Bronson Reed. That it's new, it's fresh, it's something that's not being rehashed, or be a placeholder for another rivalry.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked that they didn't just make a random like number one contender just so that he had a match for King and Queen of the Ring this coming week.
Right.
But I think, I mean, all this is speculation, but obviously one of the main stories is obviously Punk versus Drew, and Damien gave Drew a title shot. So we're going to see Drew get the title. Or not get the title, at least face for the title. That could be at Clash of the Castle, and then maybe he wins it in front of his home crowd, or maybe CM Punk intervenes again, thus continuing that storyline.
Yeah. Bigger stories being sabotaged by Punk in your home.
Yeah. And when I was listening to last week's episode, because we were talking about this, and you brought up, like, what's the difference between, like, this and the Mercedes and Willow stuff. And the only difference is that Punk and Drew are really good at the promos. And with the ladies, Willow's really good at her promo. So, like, with the Drew and Punk stuff, and I'm not trying to take a shot at Mercedes. I'm not. And this week, she did drop a good promo, as far, at least according to the internet. And according to the internet, and you. But, and that's not me saying it's bad. It was fine. It's just never been her strong suit. But with Punk and Drew, like, they're really good on the mic, and they're also really good on the ring. So both of them being good on the mic is helping carry the story, even though majority of us were ready to see it fucking end. But they're both so good to where it's like, okay, you bought another week of my intrigue. To where, for me at least, with the Mercedes and Willow thing, it's like I'm ready for Willow to just beat her ass or to lose this match at this point, because to me both of their promo, like, it's not a good back and forth promo wise as much, but I still have the same fatigue to where it's like I just want you guys to touch at this point. I need you guys to touch.
Yeah, and you are correct in the sense that, like, you know, Punk is really good at, like, I can't wrestle, but I can still be very active as far as, like, you know, these promos, because promos are great, and that's what, like, really, like, kind of distracts you a little bit, is that, like, man, like, his promos, this is great in-ring shit, and then you snap back to reality, like, this motherfucker ain't nowhere near close to wrestling yet. And I don't think we should give one more flack than the other because of the promo, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's just wrestling. If you've been giving me this since, you know, January, and Mercedes came back in March, and she's about to wrestle next week in May, I do have the right as a consumer to be like, yo, what the fuck, bro? Like, January to May, we still ain't seen no Punk and Drew in the ring. And you're like, oh, just hold on, wait a little bit. You know, in June, it might happen in June and whatnot. But it's like, hey, man, time is, you know, I'm invested in this story. Like, stop fucking with me and my, you know, my shit, yo.
No, and you're absolutely correct.
Could have had something else.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Again, yeah, you know, you're absolutely correct. I'm not trying to, like, give the men more leniency. The only caveat, or quote unquote leniency, I'm giving is that they're both really, really good on the mic versus
they are.
On the other side, one person's super good and the other person is just okay. But, like, no, at the end of the day, I have the same fatigue I have with one feud with the other. Like, I'm ready for you guys to fucking lock arms. I'm ready for let's lock up. But yeah, that was it. He gets a match. Priest ends it. He says some cool shit. Yeah, he ends it. Then we get a dope ass video package, doing pretty much a DBZ what happened last time, and so it shows us the previous Queen of the Ring matches that lead up to this current show. Damage Control. After that, Damage Control approaches Shayna and Zoe in the parking lot. We get some banter, which was cool. And then that fast forwards to the match that starts, which is Io versus Shayna. And as Io's coming out, like, she's looking at the crowd, she's hyping up the crowd. It looks like, she's like, I really want this shit. I need this shit for my entrance. It's gonna swag it out. the way she gave attention to the crown made it seem even more important compared to the previous week or so, which was cool. How did you feel about it? Or did you have any feeling?
Nah. As far as like this match and this like, just the angle that we're going with like Io and Shayna, it's very much aware to me that like Damage Control is being pushed the same way that they were being pushed on SmackDown, just on Raw, just without the title. And I still want something a little bit more. Like right now, we're just swapping shows. We're just doing the same shit just on over here. So I want to see like, I don't know, something else, like something different. I feel we shouldn't have the same like.
I think it's still early because the draft just ended. But I do feel what you're saying.
Is that like we're doing the same roles and gimmicks and kind of like the same overall like angles that we were doing pre-Mania. You know, like Damage Control is causing chaos. They're gonna wreck shit. They're gonna get really far in the Queen of the Ring. I don't think they're gonna win Queen of the Ring, but they're just doing their job as far as like causing chaos. Like, what else can we do? You know, you just lost the title. What's your stake into like? I want to be reintegrated into like that main picture. Is that Io looking at Damage Control like, damn, bro, like we got to step it up over here. Like, what is it? Like, let me see something. I think we get that with Dakota because Dakota's definitely took up like a lot of more like space now. After Bayley left and like, you know, Io's not being the mouthpiece of the group, it's now very much so that Dakota is the leader of Damage Control. Like she's running that shit.
I want to say it was last week. She did state that like what Damage Control's aspirations were. They want to get right now. They're focused on at least one of them winning the Queen of the Ring, which that was last week. So yeah, Dakota's out. So only Io's in. But they did state that they want those tag titles back at some point. I do understand what you're saying. Like, oh, it feels like they're kind of doing the same stuff. My retort is that it's a faction, it's a gang. So just because they switch shows doesn't mean like the way that they handle shit is going to be different. If that makes any sense, like in AEW, like you know, a faction like the Elite are still the Elite. Like it doesn't matter if the Elite are on Rampage, Collision, or Dynamite. It's like they're there to be the heel assholes, and Damage Control are the heel assholes. So now they're on Raw. So their goal is to take over the women's division as a gang. And at this point, they got to work up because none of them have titles. So now they got to work up from the ground up, as they did 2 years ago when they first debuted.
I would say the difference with like Damage Control, unless like the Elite or like a BCC, is that like they all have their own individual aspirations while they're in the group as well. So like, for example, Mox can go out and go get the IWGP and like do his thing. Daniel could go over and have a banger match with Will Ospreay, like, but we're still Blackpool Combat Club. That's kind of what I mean as far as like, you know, just the individualness of like, yeah, we're a group and we're a faction, but we also want to do great things and build ourselves up, you know, like it just doesn't feel like that. Like it just feels like everything Damage Control is, oh, you solo? Jump them. Like that's what I feel like everything is like that. Instead of like, yo, like watch out, let me go and just take care of this because I can do that. And we can still be bad motherfuckers and do that shit.
I have a counter argument, but I want to keep the show rolling because I feel like I want to. Oh well, okay, real quick. Okay, so I understand what you're saying with BCC. The counter to that is that sometimes it could be a hindrance because it's like when we talked about it last week. Danielson got injured with the Ospreay match. Now all of a sudden he's Team AEW, and that's fine. But there's no storytelling. Like there hasn't been a backstage segment where like BCC is like all talking to each other and it's like, what do you do? Like okay, like similar to like when Dom invites motherfuckers into the clubhouse. They all talk about it, nigga. Why do you keep inviting this person to the clubhouse? Why do you keep doing your own thing? Talk to us when you do your own thing. Like there's a story thread with it. With BCC, like there's random moments where Claudio's doing his own shit. He'll have a match. no one will be on his with him at ringside. So whether he loses or not, it is what it is. Or Moxley will have a match. He'll win the fucking main championship of Japan, but like Danielson and Claudio wasn't there to like congratulate him or like lift him up on their shoulders on some like Rudy shit. So there's pros and cons to it.
I'm okay with that though. I actually enjoy that,
but it's super random. Like,
I like the idea of like, and maybe because I'm just so conditioned to like WWE, to where like anytime there's a faction, like Evolution, like Triple H is never like rocking by himself. You always have Batista or Randy or Flair there next to him. Where it feels like DX and like, you know, it's X-Pac and Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. Like they're always there at ringside, but we're still a group and we still support each other. But just because we're not there doesn't mean we can't do that either. Like I like the idea of like we're a group and we're all fucking nice. Let's go out there and do our own thing. And when it's time for us to come back together, we'll come back together and fuck everybody up because that's what we know how to do.
I agree with that. But that's, to me, that's why I like Judgment Day more. Because with Judgment Day, they do that same thing, but at least there's a thread to it. Like Dom did his own thing multiple times without talking to the group, but at least like it was part of the story to where it's like next week is like, yo, why didn't you tell me you were going to do some shit with Santos? Talk to the group. But with BCC, it's just like, oh, this nigga had a match. That's what's up. And then now we just move on to the next thing. It's like it's not it doesn't feel continuous. I don't want to get.
Well, then how does that work with like JD though? Because like JD's matches is like he probably has some of the most matches in Judgment Day as of right now. Like weekly, JD is doing something.
Yeah, no, as of right now,
always losing like his matches. And this is not talking about it. We all know wins and losses scripted, people. We know that. But it's just more so like, when are we going to see like Judgment Day help out JD and like, yo, JD gets his win? It's always like, you're going to take care of him tonight, right? Yeah, man, I got you. JD loses. Okay. Well, next week the promo is, whoa, you didn't get it done. I promise you this week I'm going to get it done. Okay, you got one more chance against Bronson Reed. You know, damn well he's not going to get it done against Bronson Reed. Get smacked next week, it's the same thing. It's regurgitated, it's recycled. It's like, I want to see like, you know, hey, JD, we got you. It's been rough. We're going to help you get one. Every fucking week, JD is getting his ass handed to him, called a Cleon head, Funko Pop head. And it's just like, all right, guys, where I jump in next? Like, nah, man, like, yes, Dom is killing Judgment Day. He's been doing his own thing. Rhea is probably the leader of Judgment Day. Priest is on top. Finn. He's always going to be great. But, like, you know, with JD, it's like, oh, you're just here to, you know, take the L's and we're going to put you against our ops. Knowing damn well you're not going to beat them. So it's just like, I would think it would be doper if, like, JD was able to be like, okay, fuck, I'm going to go down here and rack up some wins, get my shit up, you know, come back, and we're good. Instead of, like, JD fucking getting dog walked every fucking Monday.
Honestly, I think it's long-term storytelling, but I could be wrong. I can't say anything until it might happen, but I know, we'll see. I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm glad we have the conversation.
This is a great conversation. This is a great fucking conversation. Let's
all right. So we get Io versus Shayna. It was a good match. They have fucking good chemistry in this match. Technically, they're both heels, but in this match, Io is playing the face role, which the fans love because, again, even just like we talked about it, like whether it's AEW or WWE, we live in a day and age where heels are kind of cool. Like people like the bad guys, especially if they actually have a sympathetic route or some shit like that. Like people really wanted to cheer Io this whole time, but you know she was an asshole to like Bayley and shit, so that's why we're booing her. But now she's facing another heel who we like less than Io. So like, yeah, so she played the face role. She was getting fucking cheers. And again, yeah, they had good ass chemistry. This was a fucking great ass match to me. Or, I mean, maybe great is a strong word. It was a really fucking good match. It was a solid opening match of a show. There's a moment where Io does an awesome ass pin that turns into she does a pin, but Shayna reverses it into a Kubota clutch. That was fucking fire. I mean, yeah, even the crowd was getting "This is awesome" chants. And The only other spot that I wrote down was pretty much the moonsault, the thing that sets up the moonsault, and Io wins, and then Io cuts a Japanese promo afterwards. But yeah, man, I don't know. Solid ass women's match. These two were great. I'm a huge Shayna fan. I'm a huge fucking Io fan.
Absolutely.
I love Shayna. I love Shayna Baszler. And I love fucking Io Sky. Io Shirai.
I will go on record
I love both.
and say that fucking Ronda fucked up Shayna's fucking push. I think Shayna was about to be on some shit, or should have been on some shit.
Yeah.
But I think with Ronda coming in, it's like, okay, we already have somebody who can do that, but it's Ronda. We got to give her the push. Shayna's fucking amazing. Fucking dope.
Shayna's great, especially NXT run. Shayna's great. I
Submission magician.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
But Io wins. She gets a promo. I needed the subtitles for it, but also I don't, because I'm here for it. She was talking some shit. I won't know until Twitter tells me what she said, but I knew she was spitting that shit. So it was dope. After that, we get a backstage segment with Carlito, who shaved his mustache, so he looks like 10 years younger, which is good. And yeah, it's another segment backstage with JD, to where he's essentially again like, man, look, we all agree that Ray's a selfish bastard, right? So like, let's just help each other out, type of thing. If the boys want to work, and essentially Priest is like, look, if the boys want to work with you, that's cool, but you don't belong here. And Carly's like, I get it. You don't trust me. He's like, no, I don't. And that sets up for some shit later. But it was a cool segment, and I like a transparent. I mean, Damien's still a heel, but he's still leaning towards. He's kind of in the middle, and I do think he is going to turn face. But no, I like the transparency. He's like, man, look, if these niggas want to help you, that's cool, but I still don't think you belong in this group.
Yeah, I don't fuck with you, but my boys is my boys. They can do what they want to do.
They can do what they want to do.
And I think he says like, as long as you handle like your business, once again, it's like your handle business.
Mm.
So Priest is definitely separating his business from Judgment Day business.
Right. Absolutely. And he has a reason to, because most of the time they get in the fucking way. So after that, we get a backstage segment with Gable, and he's berating Maxine. You blew your opportunity. Just cutting her down, being rude.
Hey, don't talk to Taylor not so swift.
Yeah.
Bro,
yeah.
What, bro? It's like, yo, Sammy, or not Sammy, but fucking Chad is fucking crazy right now. He's on one. And this is my thing with this shit too, is that like, he's looking at like Otis, like, Otis, you're going to go against, because Otis went against Sammy.
Yeah, so at first, he was like, Tozawa, you're going to go against Sammy. He's like, wait. No. Like, no, you're going to go against Bronson Reed. I need my number one guy to go against Sammy and, soften him up.
We put fucking Tozawa against Bronson Reed, and we're like, yeah, this is good. What the fuck, man?
And I swear to God, if you do that damn dance, what? I love it, man.
What?
If you do that damn, I swear to God, I love it. But yeah, he switches. He's berating the group. He hits that line to Ivy when Ivy was talking to Maxine, essentially like, yeah, you don't need to take this. You're a strong, independent woman. You don't need to take this from a man who's calling you nut shit. And then she leaves. And then fucking Gable's like, yeah, don't talk to Taylor not so swift. Come on now. If you want some advice, my nigga, mind your business. That's my advice. Shit, mind your business. And so that sets up later, and then we get another DBZ recap. Last time on Dragon Ball Z, for the King of the Ring. So we see some King of the Ring highlights. Then we get another Kofi promo after that, which we get. So it's Kofi cutting a promo against Gunther. Essentially, it's a backstage promo, and Xavier also speaks, which we see him on his crutches. It's not a real injury; it's a work injury for sure. But I understand what they're doing and the story of it.
Yeah,
which is cool.
it's like it's very similar to like any like 80s action scene where like the guy who got beat up, like you're going, like he comes on the crutches and shit like that. It's very action oriented, or action movie oriented. Yeah, he cut a pretty solid promo against Gunther. I think the lines or something around there was like he has no room for self doubt and failure. Like he's just ready to like go after it. Yeah.
After that we get Samantha in the ring, and we have a guest appearance from Lillian Garcia, one of the original OG GOAT announcers as far as in the female category. Yeah, I grew up on Lillian LG. She's fucking amazing. It turns out that it was a random spur of the moment type of thing. She was in town. She decided to say hi, and Triple was like, "What if we just put you on the show? Just have you on the show." And he's like, "Okay." And that was so that was a cool moment because we get a moment. It wasn't. I mean, you could label it a passing of a torch moment kind of thing, where we get Samantha. She brings out Lillian. She gives her a huge induction, and then Lillian thanks her and like, "I love you," all this other stuff, and that's not on top of what's been on social media as far as like what they Instagrammed and tweeted each other and about each other. But Samantha gives Lillian the opportunity to present one of the people for the next falling match. Lillian,
and that was the dope part.
Yeah, that was a dope part because if you want to go get into your fucking what do you call it? I don't know. Your essay bag or whatever, your fan theorizing bag. Essentially, Lillian announces Kofi, which is from her genre. Like she was working when Kofi came out, and then Samantha brings out Gunther, which was so it was dope. So
that shit was dope.
It was cool. Yeah, and Lillian hasn't missed a fucking beat. She's great on the fucking mic. Yeah, awesome.
It looks amazing. Like haven't aged. Like you still look the same. Like she
still looks the fucking same since she last was on WWE TV. I don't know if she still has a podcast, but she used to have a podcast. It was one of the first podcasts that I listened to when I actually got into like listening to podcasts around 2018 or so. It was really good, and it was good to see her. It's good to see that now in this new regime they're renewing they're renewing ties that kind of left on bad terms based on the old regime, but it's not people who left on bad terms in the sense that they've done something fucking wrong. It's just like, oh, the upper management, Vince or whoever the fuck was just, they fucked you over or whatever. But it's a new regime. Come back. Do something. Say hi on the show. Because it could have easily have been like she was there backstage. She just said hi. Whatever, but Triple H personally asked her, is like, since you here, let's get you on camera real quick. Let's give you like there was no like he didn't, whether it was Triple H, Nick Khan, whoever the fuck, they didn't have to do that, and I think it's really cool that they did.
Yeah, if I'm looking at this, or not looking, but the way I see it is that like Triple H is being more available. Like he's going out and meeting people and shaking hands, like to talent and former talent alike, to where like in the VKM regime, he was always behind a door. You couldn't get meetings with them. Like people can talk to him. To where now, like it seems like Triple H is very more like approachable. He's available. That's what I'm looking for. He's more available than VKM was. Yeah,
it doesn't. It feels like you're. This might not be
run a company.
Well, that too, and this might not be a good example, but it's like for me, like there's certain people like you'll ask your dad a question before you ask your mom, or vice versa, just because how they're going to answer, like how you can predict everything they're going to say. Where it's I don't know if you ever had the moment as when you're a kid, you want your friend or cousin to sleep over. It's like, man, ask my mom for me, or some shit like that. It's like Triple H is more approachable. He'll listen to you, and that's not to say, because there's plenty of accounts where people are like, Vince will listen to you. He'll probably shut your shit down 9 times out of 10, but he'll at least hear you out. Where Triple H is like, he'll hear you out. You guys can figure out, maybe meet somewhere in the middle. also he cares more about family stuff because he's also. I mean, he's not a billionaire tycoon. Like, he has a family. He had the whole heart thing a couple years ago. Like, so he's very like I understand. Like, fucking Kevin Owens wasn't on this SmackDown show because him and his wife went to go see a Taylor Swift concert. In the VKM era, more than likely would never happen. And just random breaks, random vacations, like giving talent time off to where they're not working 360 days a year. Shit like that.
Yeah, I think that's one thing to like retain like talent too, is that like, hey, like go spend time with your family, man. Like I love that. I think like, I don't know if I mentioned it here on the pod, but there's like clips of like Roman out like at Disneyland with his family and shit like that. Like, yes, bro, go do that shit. Like, you are Roman Reigns to the WWE world, but before all that, like, you are, dad and husband. Like, take a break.
Yeah,
the business will be fine. We're gonna run this shit. We've always been. You're good to go, man.
Yeah,
because that's the kind of shit that like leaves you drained, bro. Like, I can only imagine being a wrestler to where you're only home maybe a day and a half, 4 weeks out the month. Like,
live out of
traveling
suitcase,
24/7, living out of suitcase, never no home cooked meals, none of that shit, bro.
Like, missing birthdays,
bro, let me go home.
missing all sorts of shit.
Take that time, man. That's for everybody. That's for you who work at Fred Meyer's. Like, take that time, bro. Like, go enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself and your family.
Yeah. So before the match starts, we get a backstage segment with Miz, Truth, and Pierce. They're talking about number one contendership because Miz thought Truth was setting up some bullshit again. And it turns out, like, no. Actually, Truth and Pierce are having a legit conversation just to set up for a number one contenders match, which we'll see later. During that, Kiana James has an on-screen appearance, just letting Pierce know, like, yo, I'm here. I want to show you why I'm the number 1%. Pierce is, receptive to it, so hopefully we see her in her first match soon. She does say a word. I didn't write the word down because I don't remember, but she says a word that Truth thinks was dirty, and it wasn't. Adjudicate. He's like, can she say that on TV?
Is that PG?
Some shit like that. But, all right, so let's get to the match, because honestly, this might be, I think this is my match of the week, I think. Kofi and Gunther was heat.
It was heat.
Kofi wastes no time. He attacks Gunther, like, straight up. It was a really good showing. Kofi goes after the knee, so yeah, he works the knee this match, and this was it's not a heel Kofi, but it was, again, like, it was one of those babyface ruthless moments where it's like, you injured my friend, I'm going to be aggressive, but it's not heel aggressive. It's good guy aggressive because you hurt a friend type of aggression.
This shit reminded me of like what could have been had you gave Kofi a proper match against Brock. Because I think like the shit back then was that he couldn't work somebody that size. Pause. That sounds crazy. But it's like, yeah, he could. Like, we see it with this match that he would have been more than able to have a solid match with Brock Lesnar and still, like, lose his belt.
Fucking Rey Mysterio fought Great Khali.
Vince was tripping, bro. He was tripping.
That could have easily been a fucking, like, they could have gave us 5 minutes. It didn't have to be fucking 30 seconds. I don't want to hear that bullshit.
Nah, but it was just like, it just showed like we got to see Kofi in the light of like what it looks like to be a babyface, be aggressive, to go in, to have a focus to where like he's working on the leg. But then Gunther's working on the back to match. Like, just having that kind of like storytelling like in the ring was very much so a possibility with, Brock. Nevertheless, this match in itself, good fucking match.
I thought it was a heater. Early in the match, we almost get a Trouble in Paradise. He gets caught in a German, but then he reverses it and hits a move off the top rope. That was a fire spot. There's a spot, like, when Gunther takes over, and this is when shit is hilarious, because, Gunther hits him with a Boston Crab on the fucking announcer table, and then before it goes to commercial break, he switches it to a half crab, and I'm like, this is just, man, this is just hate. Like, I love it. Like, this is violence. This is what I would do to an op of mine, for sure. We get back from the commercial. I wrote good ass match. Fucking someone does a dope ass backbreaker. I'm assuming it's Gunther. The shit was fire. Another match to get. This is awesome chance because again, this match was fucking awesome. Gunther low key hits a Rainmaker for a 2 count, which was fucking pretty fire. It was a Rainmaker. He hit him with the Okada, but yeah, it was a really close 2 count. It was really good. And then Gunther stretches him out around the ring post, which that was a fire-ass spot.
What, bro?
Man,
I didn't know what to call it. I just said torture on the ring post. I didn't know what move it was. I was like, this looks like torture. Man, he bending this man.
Yeah,
like that's nuts, bro.
I didn't know what to call it either. I just wrote, he was stretching him around the ring post. Pause. That shit was fire. It was fire. And then there's a spot where he goes for a powerbomb, but Kofi reverses it into a Hurricanrana. That was a really good spot. Mm-hmm. And then we get a Trouble in Paradise after that, which was good. And then there's a point in time where Kofi almost gets a ring count win, which later on after the match during like an interview, Kofi he talks about it because he's like, man, usually I don't like W's based off a ring count, but when it comes to Gunther, you got to win any way you can. And I feel that like that's actually logical if we're thinking like if we're taking wrestling serious and we're taking it verbatim and kayfabe is real. If I'm fighting Gunther, I'm trying to win any way I can. So if I can get him out for 10 seconds, a W's a fucking W. Fuck a 3 count pin. If I can get a W off of Gunther, I'm taking it. So like that him explaining that makes a lot of sense to me, and it was just a good callback. But it doesn't work. Gunther gets back in. Kofi goes for another Trouble in Paradise, but this time Gunther gets the powerbomb off. He hits the powerbomb. The ref thinks he's going for a pin, but Gunther's like, nah. He instantly turns that
kicks out. Nigga, he kicks out of the powerbomb. A pin powerbomb. He's pinning 1, 2, kicks out and flips that bitch into a Boston Crab. Do you know? Like I was watching this shit, like, yo, this motherfucker's like genius, bro. He's fucking insane. See, the way I looked at it was that, this nigga's genius, because the way that I saw it was that he powerbombed. The ref thought he was going for the count, and Gunther was like, no. So it was like a powerbomb, then to a Boston Crab, because he's like, no, I don't want to win, because his last 2-3 matches he's won off submission. So I feel like his goal is to win off submission. So the way I took it was he powerbombed him and just said, fuck the 3 count. I need to make him submit to me. This bitch. That's the way I took it. It was clean.
Either way, it was fucking clean.
I thought, either way, both aspects work. To where if it was him like mentally like, fuck, I'll make this dude tap. Cool. But also, it's crazy that if he heard the 2 count, as soon as Kof kicks up to kick out, he's just like, nah.
Yeah.
Boop. Like, that's crazy, bro. Gunther is fucking amazing.
Gunther's amazing. See, now I need to run the match back because it's like a cloud. We saw 2 different things, but the outcome was still the same. And the outcome was Gunther winning and advancing to the in the King of the Ring. Woo! Okay, so after that, we get a Lyra promo. And Lyra is talking about Becky. She gives some love to Becky. Then Liv shows up. And Liv is acting like, nice and whatnot. And then she's like, I do have one question, though. Has Bex always been a bitch? And then...
This was cheesy to me.
You said what? It was easy?
This was cheesy.
Oh, cheesy.
It was cheesy to me.
It was very CW. It was very Dawson Creek.
This reminded me of 2013 VKM. I'm not gonna hold you. I was like, what? And then like Becky, I think this was the punch that they were talking about. Like they're like, man, this punch just didn't look good. I didn't pay attention to it at first. I go back on Twitter and everybody was like, yo, like this punch was dog shit. My bad. I'm getting ahead of the story to where Becky pops up behind Liv as she's saying, like, as she called her a bitch and whatnot.
Yeah, Lyra says, why don't you ask for yourself?
Yeah, she turns around. She's like, I'm not afraid of a fight, bitch.
No, well, she punches her first and then says, like, I'm not the one that's afraid of a face-to-face fight or something like that. She hits her first before, Which I thought the punch was fine. It was funny, but it's one of those things where it's also on the cell, like, it's not just the cell E, it's also on the cell like, Like, you got like some people were taking that moment to try to shit on Becky, but it was like, it's also on Liv to sell the punch. So if she sold it like just getting hit in the chin and then just falling straight down as a sack of potatoes, that's the way she wanted to sell it. I thought it was fine. I think it was one of those moments where people just want to nitpick shit because it's cool to hate Becky right now or whatever the fuck. But at the end of the day, she puts most of these women over. Like,
I have nothing bad to say about Becky. Yeah, like I will. Yeah, Becky's just Becky. Like, I don't have anything bad about her. I will say she's held down the fucking women's division for a long fucking time now. I think a lot of her fatigue comes from a lot of people's fatigue with Becky just comes from her being the number one like woman superstar for so long, and just the lack of talent behind her. But that's not her fault. That's just how that shit was run back then.
Mm-hmm. It's not her fault. One of the horsewomen are boring because all they do is fucking win and they don't have any character. The other horsewoman left. She left to go somewhere else, and the other horsewoman's also just equally amazing. So it's like, you got Becky, you got Bayley, the two Bs. Charlotte's great, but her character is the same, and it's boring. Ooh, and then you got Sasha Mercedes, who amazing wrestler, not that great on the mic, decided to go somewhere else.
That's crazy because out of the four horsewomen, I think Charlotte might be my favorite. And it's just because, like, you get antics of, like, I don't like anybody, and I'm okay with that. And then you also get, like, if I don't want to wrestle you, I don't want to wrestle you. But when Charlotte is in the main event matches and Charlotte has to be put in the spotlight, she does shine. I can never say, like, oh, that was a bad match from Charlotte. I've never said that. No,
she's one of those people that she'll put you over, like, crazy, but she kind of, like, has to like you a little bit.
Yeah. At least that's what it feels like. I don't know personally. I just think that's what it feels like.
To me, that's what it feels like. It's very Brock Lesnar-esque, where it's like his match with Dean Ambrose was kind of ass, but the match with him and Bryan, or the match with him and AJ, or the match with just him and Finn, was like all three of those hit. All four of those characters are very small people compared to Brock, but 3 out of the 4 fucking hit. The Ambrose one didn't hit, and there's a couple other people we can use as an example. It's just one of those things where it's like, I feel like, yeah, Charlotte is one of those people who's like, I'll sell for you hardcore if I like you. Very similar to Brock, to where it's like Brock versus Bray or anything, like he's not going to sell that hard. But with Brock versus Roman, like he's selling his ass off, or True. Fucking that moment when, that moment with Drew, he sold his ass off. Shit, even that little brief moment with Keith Lee, Brock was like, True. I'm going to sell for this guy. I like this guy. He cool. But he ain't going to sell for no I don't want to put anybody down.
No. Let it rock. Let it rock.
He ain't gonna sell for you. If you ain't popping, he ain't gonna sell for you. Who the fuck is you?
Yeah. We get like a Karrion Kross Kof promo where it's just a quick one where Kross is like, "Oh, it's more time to turn things around, Kof." And please don't put my man. I don't need New Day versus AOP. I don't.
If it makes New Day heel again, I'll be okay, but I don't want to have to go. That's not what's going to happen. I don't want to have to go through it. Well, Karrion, kayfabe-wise, has a low-key thing similar to The Fiend, where it's like, if you face him, or even Malachi Black, where it's like, if you face him, you eventually change to some degree. Every character that...
The tunnel for being a heel is going through Karrion Kross.
Yeah, it's like
that just so they can come out.
He had a small feud with Shinsuke on SmackDown. Shinsuke goes to Raw. Eventually, now he's a heel. And there's a couple other people. Or it's not even just going heel. I think it's just like your life just changed. But like with The Fiend, you go heel. Or with Malachi Black, if you get the mist, you eventually go heel, which is what I think is going to happen to Copeland. But anyway, digress. So yeah, we get that little cross thing. It was fine. We'll see where that leads.
We get the Cesaro versus Bronson rematch. Chad is fucking just screaming at ringside like a fucking lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
Call him an idiot. It tells him just going off on him. Yeah, it's a quick match. There's a Death Valley driver to the Bronson Reed splash. Match is done. Cesaro had no fucking chance at all.
No. Before that, earlier though, I mean, So Tozawa was kind of working him for a little bit, and then he took the shirt off, and then it just went downhill for that. Like, there was a moment where Tozawa was like, there was like 2 minutes, or I don't know how long this match was, but let's just say there was like a full 60 seconds where Tozawa was he was in Reed's ass for a little bit. He was working him, and then he took the shirt off. He was feeling himself, and it went downhill. It went down.
GG's.
Yeah, it was a good game for him.
Is this like there's a Gunther promo?
There's a Ludwig promo. So yeah, Ludwig cuts a promo
Ludwig,
for Gunther, and he brings up a bunch of receipts. He talks about he just brings up a bunch of receipts, and he talks about a bunch of Gunther's previous fucking rivalries or whatever. I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like we just gotta let it play out because I don't know what to think of it at this moment.
Yeah, just a quick one. He says, last time he faced Ilja, he lost. He faced Jey Uso. It was interference by Jimmy. And then he says if Sheamus believes that he lost because of me, he's delusional. Just like, bro, like, it's not me. You lost because you faced the best. I didn't do anything. Which that wasn't the case. But it's interesting to see where this is going to go, especially like the new Imperium. Like this is what is Ludwig's like role in this new tandem with him and Gunther. From there, we get the new catch promo. They're added to a fatal 4-way tag for the number one contendership. This also leads to Braun Breaker asking Pierce why he isn't in King of the Ring, which is a good question.
It's a great question.
What the fuck are we doing with Bronson Reed? What do we got? Give me something.
Yeah, and it's his excuse or whatever the fuck it was. It wasn't a good excuse. I feel like this probably leads to a more heel Braun Breaker, and we'll see what happens after that.
The motherfucker was like, he said they would have been in the deep end with me because I would have drowned all of them. And that's the thing too. I guess you got to also protect the Bronson Reed, or not Bronson, but the Braun Breaker like identity and brand. Because like if you're putting Braun Breaker in King of the Ring, he has to win.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe he doesn't. He doesn't have to win.
There's ways to lose. We'll talk about it, but
we're going to get into that.
Carmelo and Jay did not win, and they found ways for them to lose. And,
I hate it. We get Lyra versus Zoe. Only got just a tornado DDT that happened from Lyra as a spot. And that's pretty much all I have for like this match.
I will say Zoe. Because there was a moment in the match where she does her springboard drop kick, and I think it was Cole. She was yelling at Cole, talking about, "I have the best springboard drop kick," and I think she does. I need to see more, but between her and Io, Zoe's springboard drop kick is better. I don't know who else does a springboard drop kick that from the top of my head, but she has a really clean ass springboard drop kick. Like it's really clean. And so she's starting to get again. She's getting to her shit. Like her only downside again is like her charisma. Like she just needs actual character. But moveset wise, she's great. She is a ring general. She can. Whether it's a newbie or whether it's a vet, she can work the ring great. Yeah, she just needs to
has a dope finisher.
Man, good finisher, especially if you sell it good. Yeah. But yeah, it was a good match. Zoe. Yeah, okay, wait. Zoe's beating her ass. Let's see what I said. Something about a bedazzled bra.
Nigga, what?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I was okay. Because Zoe, because Zoe. Okay, so I remember now. Because Zoe's fit was funny as shit to me. Because she has a bedazzled bra with some jeans and the Stone Cold knee brace. And I wrote that down because I was like, this is a really interesting fit.
It's like, so what you got this creative player ass fit on? Like,
it's a really cool fit. So you got this bedazzled like sports bra, some jeans, and a knee brace. I was like, hey, I was looking at this. I was like, what the fuck? I was enamored by it. I was like, this is a wild ass fit.
Funny.
I would be scared of you if I saw you. Like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna fuck with her. you see that knee brace with them jeans? That's a crazy ass combination.
That's great.
That's what I like looking up at this is like.
If people can see the notes that like we take, it's probably like, bro, what the fuck are y'all talking about?
9:30 high after a cider. I'm like, man, bedazzled bra and a knee brace like Stone Cold. Yeah, it's just random ass stuff like that. And some jeans.
We get a Jey Uso promo post match, and it's just like a regular, like, just Jey Uso doing his eating shit.
Yeah. Sammy comes out after that.
Yeah.
That's all I wrote. Sammy comes out.
It's just before the break.
Okay.
And then we got Sammy versus Otis. And all I got for this is like Gable's losing his shit at Otis, which causes Otis to be distracted. Gable's really going in on this heel shit for sure.
Yeah, so similar to this Tozawa match, Gable's like, do not gyrate your hips. I don't want to see gyrate your fucking hips, shit like that. And Otis was really working, and then he started filling the crowd, and then you hear Pat is like, show us your worm, Otis, show us your worm, give us the worm, pull out your worm, all this other shit. Otis just start filling the crowd, and he like rips his shirt, starts gyrating and shit, and you could just see Gable just super fucking upset. And that sets up for Sammy to get the W, essentially. Which makes Gable upset.
Yeah, Otis Gable ends up attacking Otis. Sammy saves him, and then Chad ends up blaming Otis again and slaps him. Yeah. So Otis got attacked twice and has to take the walk of shame.
Yeah.
We then get a Judge or JD promo with Braun Strowman, which is just, this is what I mean. They send this man up for fucking failure. He warned Strowman to stay out of Judgment Day orders, or basically Judgment Day business.
Yeah,
this is what the fuck I'm talking about.
Hey, but
send fucking JD in there to Braun fucking Strowman. Handle that for us, JD. Handle that.
I don't know I don't know.
Get together and jump this big ass nigga. The fuck is going on here, bro?
I don't know if it's the weight of his head, but he stood on business. I'll give him that. He went up to Braun Strowman and he didn't look scared. He
didn't.
He wasn't shaking in his boots saying, "You better stay out of our business." Like, no, he went up to him and he looked up, which might have had to be a strain on his neck. He looked up though, and he's like, "Stay out of our shit." He wasn't punked out, so I'm going to give him that. I still agree with your saying, but he's the jobber of this group right now, because I look, Finn can't take pins and Dom's hurt right now. Someone got to take these pins. You need someone to job. So
that's crazy. Probably hurt his head. Oh, that strain. Shit,
I mean,
he get headaches. He probably bend spoons and shit.
Man. You are the one. Nah, you are the head, my nigga.
Nigga. That's funny. Psychic. We get the Dakota Kai versus Becky match. I got a couple notes in this one. There was a dope leg drop from the turnbuckle.
Mm-hmm.
Cole then says something funny, which is like, not funny, but just he says something like, she's being put through the test by the leader of Damage Control. So it's kind of like sets up, that Dakota is the de facto leader. The finish of the match was really cool. It was a series of pins, which ends up turning into like a disarmor, which was a very creative way of getting into like a disarmor. And then I have Damage Control interferes in this match, and then Liv then ends up sending a receipt to Becky for what happened earlier.
Yeah.
How do we feel about where this story is going?
Well, okay, yeah, that happens after. Okay, so yeah, Damage Control attacks Bex. Lyra comes out for the save. Baby faces stand tall, and as they're like looking towards the ramp, talking shit to Damage Control, then that's when Liv comes out and attacks Bex, and then like leaves immediately. The way I'm feeling about it, it's a good slow burn to Liv's full heel turn, because yes, the last 2 weeks she's done some heel shit, but it's not. I'm not willing to say, oh, she's 100% heel right now. Similar to like even Drew McIntyre after the War Games match, he still wasn't full heel yet. He still was doing babyface shit. Like he wasn't attacking Seth from behind or any of like technically Drew is not a full heel yet. Technically, he's still kind of a tweener because like a lot of his gripes make sense. He's just kind of fucking obsessed and he is making wrong decisions, but he's not a full heel just yet. He's like fucking 85% at this point. And I would say Liv is maybe like 70.
Okay. I would, the continuity of like the Queen of the Ring participants is kind of that. I'm up in the air about where they're going with this. I truly don't know. Because at this point, the last two finalists are Io and Lyra on the Raw side, and then we have Bianca and we have Nia on the SmackDown side, right? And these are just the finalists for the respective brands. My bad, spoiler alert. So the story, I see the story with Nia and Bianca. That makes sense. Yeah, I could see where they're going with that. Personally, like I said last week, I still think that Nia should be the one to have the match at Saudi for the Queen of the Ring. I think she should win. I think she would have, it would do her wonders. It's just Nia versus who out of like Io and Lyra. You know, do you go Nia versus Io and just run that? Or do you go Nia versus Lyra and you run that? Okay, I don't know the continuity, how that fits comparative to, once again, spoiler alert, my bad. On the men's side, it's damn.
The men's side. Okay, yeah, no, let's hold it. But the men's side is a lot more confusing.
You think so?
I think it's more confusing on who. Okay, so both the men's and women's, it's hard for me to choose who's going to win. But I would say maybe confusing is not the right word, but I don't think confusing is the right word, but I feel like they got a lot more sense to make on the men's side compared to the women's, because to me, the simple thing would be Tiffany distracts Bianca, Nia goes further, and Damage Control, obviously, there's 3 of them versus Lyra. Becky will be there, but there's always Liv to also take Becky out the picture to where it can still be 3v1. And then you have Io versus Nia to where Io can play the face again, similar to how she did Shayna. So to me, that's it. Like if we're just talking about like different pathways or different streets you can take, to me, like the women's, the different streets you can take in the women's is a lot more or a lot less convoluted than than for the men's, because with the men, either we do fucking like Tama beats Randy, and then we get Tama versus Jay, so then we're already getting mixes with the Bloodline Civil War shit,
which is where I think that's where they're going.
Right.
Makes the most sense.
It makes the most sense, but it's like also we still have so many more months until like whether it's War Games or Rumble or Mania, like there's still a lot of, like, so that's something that they could just slow build and not do it at all. But
it is, but you gotta.
It makes sense to do it,
right? Like, and the thing is, like, I think Jay gets this one over Gunther because even the last time they fought, like, Jimmy was the one that interfered in that. Jay was about to get him. Jay was on his ass. So without, the title being there to where like Jay doesn't have to be IC champion or nothing like that, I think Jay gets it, and then Bloodline interferes with fucking Randy. I think you get Jay versus Tama, which is like just planting the seeds of the whole Bloodline shit and whatnot. And you can kind of stretch that out over honestly only 2 months, because SummerSlam's in August. So like, I would say that like you would see your first appearance of the Tribal Chief in SummerSlam, maybe even like the SmackDown afterwards or something like that. I think you can run, a brief story, or maybe Jimmy comes back and he's on Jay's side, for 6 or for 8 weeks, and then you get all the extra shit.
And that works.
And honestly, to be honest, I need that because I don't like what they're doing with Bloodline. I'm fatigued out with Bloodline. I've tried. I'm here. I am cooked, especially just with the little walkbacks this week. But we'll finish that. We'll get into that. We'll talk about SmackDown.
Okay.
Yeah, I just a little interesting on where they're going with the Queen of the Ring. We then get the Ilja promo. He says he's here to make an impact.
It was a really good promo too.
It was a good promo.
It was
a very good promo.
Yeah. It was a fire-ass promo.
He wants to be the czar of the ring, which is the king of the ring. He says, I'm a different kind of dragon. I beat Gunther. He says, not over. And then we get a slight to Gunther, or we get Gunther walking up. Camera pans over, and Gunther's right next to him, just looking at him, just smirk. Don't say nothing. Just like, all right, I see you talking.
Good face off.
There, Playboy.
Good tease. After that, we get a fatal 4-way to determine the number 1 contender. It's Finn and JD versus New Catch Republic versus AOP versus Creed Bros. Creed Bros look great. What the fuck is AOP? Oh, yeah. I still don't understand what AOP is, but this is already a long show. That'll be a tangent for another. I'm over it. You want to talk about fatigue? I'm over it, dude. Who are these Iranian ass niggas in this gang with this 70-year-old vulture man yelling at them? I don't understand what I'm supposed to. I don't understand it. Are you guys bikers? Are you drug dealers? Are you a cult? What the? Anyway. It was a dope ass match. Carlito comes out. He helps Finn and JD win. Therefore, so he's trying to essentially buy himself, whether it's be a part of the Judgment Day or at least get in favor to where they can help him. He helps them. Again, it's a callback to the previous week where he's like, scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, type of thing. And it looks like it's going that way because we'll see a little backstage something a little later. Ricochet says good luck to Ilja and says we'll face again. I'm still around this bitch, but good luck. Not really much. They just needed to get him on TV, I guess. Then the Yeeter of Worlds comes out. After that, I think it's a commercial. We get a backstage segment where Damian says what Carlito did was cool. But before that, we do get a small little hint to where, because we were talking about Liv and all this other shit. Before Carlito and Finn and JD pop up, Damian asks Dominic, "Are you and Rhea cool?" And Dom says, "Yeah." Why you ask? And before he could, that kind of conversation could even continue, that's when the other boys show up. So, again, they're planting the seeds. Damian sees something that the rest of the gang don't. Us as the audience, obviously Dominic has liked 2 of Liv's posts recently. There was the photo from last week to where you saw a little purple bandana in Liv's pocket. I saw a fan.
Dom's bandana was gone.
Yeah, I saw a fan theory that says Finn's bandana was also gone. It's also been gone for a while.
Ooh.
So maybe Finn's the one recruiting Liv. I don't know. We'll see. There's I'm glad that even though the pathways are kind of predictable, they are still blending the lines to where we have no idea. It could easily be Finn. They could do a swerve into where it was fucking Damien the whole time. It's not just one for one super predictable. Oh yeah, Anyway, good shit. Boom. Yeah. Then we get the Ilja entrance, which I saw fans on Twitter say, "Oh, he didn't blow smoke out of his nose or whatever." So they were like, "Yeah, he's probably gonna lose." So it seems like him when he actually blows the smoke on his dragon shit, that might be his Super Saiyan version, or the version that we know ain't gonna take an L or whatever. But yeah, Ilja's entrance comes out. It looks fucking cool as shit. And then I only have a couple spots. There's a boot outside that Ilja does that fucking Jay sells really fucking good. There's a part where he does the H-bomb on the table.
Trying to end that man's career.
Yeah.
Like, H-bomb off on the table, bro? Like, relax.
Yeah, which that gets reversed. We'll get an H-bomb, but his arm... so after the table shit, he does another H-bomb, but his arm is injured now because he did the H-bomb on the table that fucking missed. So, like, they're selling his arm. So, he does an H-bomb to Jay, but it fucking hurts, so he doesn't get the pin right away. And because he doesn't do the pin right away, Jay's able to kick out. Storytelling. He goes for the Moscow torpedo, but that gets turned into a spear, into a Uso splash, into a win. So it seems like the H-bomb is for sure his finisher on the main roster, and the torpedo Moscow might. He hasn't not been able to get it off on the. I think he did. Did he do it to Shinsuke? I don't think he's been able to get it off on the main roster so far. So the torpedo Moscow might be like his new super finisher or some shit. But he has not done it yet, to my knowledge. Yeah. Unless he's done it to Shinsuke. I don't remember.
The match was good, but I felt like it was watching two styles that just didn't really mix too well for me. Especially coming off of like the back of like Ricochet and Ilja, like that was just like fucking crazy. To where like it didn't fit. It was like I enjoyed it. I just thought the styles that they have with each other just didn't work. And maybe it's just because they both working each other for the first time ever. And of course you go through like, what spots you're doing and shit like that. But it was enjoyable. I just didn't think that like the chemistry was all there yet. And that's just fair because it is fucking Ilja's second fucking match on the main roster.
I don't think it was the chemistry. I think it's what we talked about last week. And I think it has to do with Jay's bag. And it's due to his bag or lack thereof, almost every match he has to work from behind. So he's taking majority of the offense the entire match.
Right.
And I think that's what the problem was, because a lot of Ilja's offense looks like it can kill you. So it's like, all right, he's doing like Jay's just get back up with this, and then he does a robot and punches you after I just saw him going KO Ken and hitting you with the H-bomb. I feel like, I think that's what it is. I think that's the disconnect with that.
That is it. I think it's, even more so, maybe we did talk about his bag and lack thereof. But, all right. It's more so like when you see Ilja in the corner and he's doing like, the left arm, right arm, and then he's like the animated like sense of it. And then the other end, you don't get that. You don't get like the reception of like that energy. It just doesn't hit for me. It was like, damn, bro, like you're taking me out of the fucking element. Like he's fucking pumped. He's ready to fucking go. He's trying to kill you. And then all the end is just, oh, watch me do this shit with my shoulder, spit in my hand, and like smack you. Like all right, bro, you got it.
Yeah. Now it's about Yeats and Yeats in that.
Like, he's over. Like that's the thing.
No,
like
he's over as fuck.
He's over. He's over as fuck right now. It's just. It's hard to be like, damn, like you this over, and this motherfucker just put on a smoker his first fucking week last week. Like,
right. So yeah, it's less about moves, and now it's about the storytelling. And besides the Damian match, thus far, the storytelling in I would say Jay's last 5 matches or so just hasn't been that great.
Which is, I think, even more so while they're leaning into like the bloodline meeting at the King of the Ring. I think. Mm-hmm. Jay's interest levels pop even more when he's part of like the bloodline like drama and shit like that. That's when you pay attention to like him the most. It's either they're the Usos and they're the tag team, or it's bloodline shit.
Yeah, but there is a chance we get Gunther versus Randy, and that would be fucking for a one-off. That'd be a heater at Saudi. Gunther versus Randy.
The wrestling fan in me wants to see that. The wrestling fan, I love wrestling, wants to see that, but. I just think like entertainment wise and WWE storylines, that's just not how that shit's gonna like work out. Yeah. Especially when I'm thinking about the Randy versus Gunther and the longevity of that match. You think Randy can go 20 minutes with Gunther?
I mean, if most of it is just chops, yeah. if he's not, if he's not taking a bunch of crazy ass back bumps, I mean, yeah, because Gunther has a
That's what
variety of
does,
like all you gotta do is kick him in the leg a couple times, a bunch of chops, couple headlocks and shit. Get 2
Gonna put
power
the
bombs
backbreakers,
off.
them Germans, power
Yeah,
bombs. Like Randy not taking none of that, nigga. Randy ain't taking no power bomb. Leave the fuck out of here.
we'll see. But that was Raw. Yeah, that was Raw. So you want to take a break? You want to just hop it right into
Yeah,
Dynamite?
we're gonna take a break real quick. I got one created. I was inspired last week by Brody King, so this one's entitled Brody King. Go ahead and take a listen. We'll be back after the break.
Yeah.
Warp drive.
And we're back, people. It's time to get inside some AEW Dynamite. Yeah, we're definitely also still on the boom bad vibes. Shout out to being rejuvenated by Kendrick and Drake and just being inspired again. It's been a long time coming, but we're back. AEW kicks off with a heater, man, and we immediately get into the action with Blackpool Combat Club versus Fletcher and Jeff Hobbs from New Japan, which is very dope to see Jeff Hobbs back. He was in AEW for like just the earlier, I believe like 2021. I've seen Jeff Hobbs back then. I thought he was signed with AEW, but he was just on retainer. But it seems like the plan was probably going to be Fletcher in Powerhouse Hobbs, but Powerhouse had his injury, so you called him a replacement. You get Jeff Hobbs to come out, and you can do this match. Incredible opening match. Mox and Daniel always throwing like great challenges. I still think Kyle looks great. Jeff Hobbs bringing that New Japan work over. Like, it's just refreshing to kind of like see how the guys come over from New Japan. Mox ends up hitting like this dope ass driver on Kyle Fletcher for the win. At the end of the match, we get Konosuke, who comes out. He ends up attacking Blackpool Combat Club, which is then saved by Swiss, which means at some point we're probably going to get like a Callis family versus BCC at some point.
In Swiss is Claudio, just for those who
Claudio, my bad. I don't know why I put that in my notes, expecting like everybody knows who Swiss is, but it's Claudio.
If you're new to the show, it's Claudio.
Yeah. It's Claudio. So you'll probably get some form of that at some point. And I would assume that this also helps Will figure out his babyface route at some point. Because right now they kind of keep Will away from the Callis family. Like Callis family over doing like heel shit, and Will's clearly the babyface in the group, which doesn't technically make sense, but I expect the split to happen at some point. Adam Copeland ends up coming out for a promo. Music's hidden, blaring like he's ready to go, and he gets immediately attacked by House of Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, and they jump the dog shit out of this man. Just an all-out assault on Cope.
Take his wedding ring.
The steel steps. Nigga. Craziness, bro. Malachi comes out with this title. They're definitely beating this man and pushing to the limits. Malachi says something hard like, man, I don't know why you try to keep up with this facade. Like you like this facade that you think you are. Like, you're not who you think you are, bro. Like, just drop the act. So clearly, I think that we may be getting the dark push that we've been talking about pretty soon. I think we'll get what I think you may have said it before. We'll get what he wanted to do with Judgment Day. Yeah. As far as like taking down that real dark angle, just hard heavy metal like angle.
Spooky nigga. He wants to have powers and shit again.
Yeah,
we're spooky
nigga. They steal this man's wedding ring while he's unconscious, which is that's some heel shit. Imagine getting knocked out, man. They steal your wedding ring, bro.
So I missed this segment. Was it an actual ring or was it like one of those silicone bands? Do you know? Not that it super matters, but it does give more gravity because like most sports people, whether it's wrestlers, basketball people, etc., like even I do it sometimes. Like it's it's one of those rubber or silicone bands so that you don't wear your real ring because obviously you're doing sports or whatever. So I was just curious because I actually didn't see this particular segment.
If I'm not mistaken, when I was looking at it, it wasn't like your ideal wedding ring. It didn't look like that, but it also wasn't a silicone band either. It looked different.
Okay.
But that's also on TV, and I also just saw him just moving around through a promo. I wasn't really paying attention, but it didn't look like the average like wedding ring. Kyle O'Reilly comes out to help
for the save.
He then takes a stupid fucking kick from Malachi Black to the chin. It was just fucking crazy. Which then sets up House of Black doing a triple chair shot on Cope in the corner. Like, Cope leaned in the corner. They put up these chairs and just fucking dog him. It was kind of dope. It was a dope segment. I am definitely looking forward to the match. Because it was promo before they want to do a steel cage barbed wire match. So it's going to be a very brutal fucking match. Yeah. At this point in time, Malachi hasn't accepted the challenge yet, but later on in the promo or later on the show, he accepts it.
This is a nitpick, or honestly, I don't even call it nitpick. I just think the barbed wire cage match is a little redundant, only because the way AEW does their cage matches, the way they do their cage matches, it's usually only pinfall and submission. There's no escape to win the match. So I feel like the barbed wire part is a little redundant, but I'm also here for the violence. It's just one of
Now that you mention it, I don't think we've seen a lot of like escape from the cage matches. Like,
I don't think
like in modern times, like recent events. I think all of them have been like pin or submission, and I'm okay. The old school head of me is like, no, climb the cage. But at the same time, you 20 feet up, 25, 30 feet up, you got to climb this goddamn cage.
I'm trying to remember Becky versus Trish. I want to say one of them left the door, but the last cage match I vividly remember in recent time.
And I don't mean the door. The door is the door counts the same as like pinfall and submission. I mean like legitimately.
No, because it's escaping the cage.
The door don't count, man.
If it's leaving the cage, the door counts. That's why people win.
If you leave the cage, the whole concept of the cage is to climb out of the motherfucker.
That was the original concept, but then the door became a thing for like the last, like, niggas left the door in the last match.
Yeah, because it was like climbing the cage.
Well, what's the point of climbing the cage if you could walk out the door?
Well, they added the door. We need to go back and see who was the first nigga to say no, and they added the door for him. I need to know the first cage match that had the door in it, because whoever's in that match, somebody was like, hell no, I ain't climbing that shit, bro.
Well, yeah, it just eventually set up the stupid spots to where, like, oh, it's a cage match, so no one's supposed to interfere. Then I'm in a match, and then you show up to help me win by slamming the door on someone's head. Because, yeah, like, I don't remember the Becky Trish match that when Zoe helped. I don't remember how that match won. Honestly, it might have won via pinfall or submission. But the last match I remember where it required a door escape was Stomping Ground Kofi versus Dolph Ziggler, which that was, I think that was in Tacoma. I went to that pay-per-view. That's when Kofi was heavy world champion or whatever. So, yeah, WWE, I can't remember. I don't remember because they haven't had that many cage matches. But as far as AEW goes, because this is the AEW show right now, they don't do escape from cage matches. So I just feel like the barbed wire is like redundant. Like you're just
point. Yeah, like, just putting a hat anyway.
Yeah, you're putting a hat on top of a hat. But again, it's for the violence. So that's I'm not tripping on it. That's why I was like, it might be a minor nitpick. I wouldn't even call it a nitpick. It was just something that came to my mind.
It just doesn't make any sense because nobody's climbing over the ring, over the cage no more. Nobody's done that in fucking at least 20 years now.
Yeah, and then why would I climb if there's barbed wire? What's the point?
Exactly. We get an EVP promo. It says, looks like Eddie got hit by the injury bug. They asked if Team AEW wants to forfeit. So first week we take out Tony Khan. Second week they take out Kenny Omega. Third week, Eddy Kingston's out because in the Eddy Kingston like clip that they show from New Japan, I'm assuming the EVPs were there. They just came out and attacked him anyway to kind of make it look like it was like storyline wise. But Eddie did get injured in the New Japan match.
Yeah, I think he took like a suplex and his legs hit the barricade. I saw the leg, like
bro. That shit was fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, broken leg.
Yeah, and he was active. Eddy Kingston was very much so active. They say it seemed like Team AEW was outnumbered. We then get a promo about the Bucks unveiling their new Reeboks. FTR has a promo where
they also fired Christopher Daniels, or is that later in the show?
That's later in the show. That's after the match.
My bad.
Yeah. No, you're all good. FTR has a promo, calls Okada the elite bitch. We then get Jack on commentary for the Young Bucks match, which is Bucks versus Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. This is from a promo on Collision last week where they were yelling at Christopher Daniels and trying to get him to do stuff, and Christopher Daniels fought back and was like, I'm not taking this shit. I'll just see you guys out in the ring. Match is good, but it's definitely more so like the post match that you're paying attention to because after the match they ended up firing Christopher Daniels from AEW. They said we're going to set him up with a severance package to take care of his family. They said they're trying to reduce toxicity around the workplace for retaliation to Daniels attacking Matthew last week. In doing so, Jack's on commentary next to Tony Schiavone, and Jack wants to praise the Young Bucks for all the hard work they're doing, and wants to raise a toast for that. And in doing so, he pours the woo drink all over Tony's head. And I hate when drinks are poured on people. I think it's just classless. It's tasteless. Yeah. But it gets the reaction that they're looking for from the fucking crowd. It's perfect fucking heel work. And it just leaves Jack with even more fucking heat. Like right now, Jack is fucking. I'd be interesting to see who Jack's first opponent is going to be. Cause that's gonna be a very interesting line you got to tote there. I don't know who comes back and goes against Jack Perry. I don't know. Yeah. I really don't know how you book that. Like I don't know.
Honestly, I wouldn't have him in a long-term feud for a while. I just have him beat up people love. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird because this company doesn't have a lot of baby faces.
They told them
the baby faces.
Yeah, go ahead.
The two baby faces or the three baby faces that they do have, they're all already in stories, and that's Swerve, Cassidy, and Ospreay. Other than that, the other biggest baby faces, or they're kind of tweeners or they're injured. So.
And even then, I think they're leaning with Swerve even more so into the tweener phase. And I'll explain that when we get to like Swerve's like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, here we go. From there, we get a Tony Storm promo. Malachi Black does a promo where he's holding Cope's wedding ring. Says he accepts his challenge to the steel cage. He then says that if he beats Cope, he has to bend the knee to House of Black. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna get spooky Cope.
I mean, that's assuming Malachi gets his first fucking title win. There's a chance. There's a chance he still loses, and Cope still Cope. Maybe Cope takes over the House of Black, and it becomes the House of Cope or some shit.
I don't. Just because I play favoritism with fucking Malachi Black, I do not want to see him lose. I've never thought about what the story would look like if Malachi lost and Cope retains. That's interesting. Very interesting.
I mean, yeah,
I don't know.
Either way is interesting because if Malachi wins and Cope bends the knee, like, do they go the route where like when Randy joined the Wyatt family, or does Cope legitimately be a part of this gang? And then also, if he does join this gang, like he's technically the biggest star in the gang. Therefore, like, what is he going to be, the Pursuito leader, or do we do a storyline to where he kicks Kai out? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's something to pay attention to.
Malachi,
that's what it is.
No House of Black with Malachi is fucking crazy, but would be interesting.
Because he could always still turn heel without joining them. Like the feud could be over, and he can still be taking the effects of the mist, and then turn heel and some shit, and and then maybe
that's true.
Join Christian,
kind of like spiral out or some shit like that. Yeah. We get a squash match from Hook. From there, he immediately calls up Chris Jericho for his FTW championship. Jericho comes out and says hopefully he learned a few lessons after he hit himself in the face with a baseball bat. He's doing this all in the condescending, like, learning tree tone. I fucking love it. It's fucking just irritating. But also, like, it's just good character work. He said he loved Dynamite so much that even if it means he'll show up, even if it means sharing the spotlight with Hook. Hook doesn't want to share the spotlight. He just wants to beat Jericho for the FTW. He then asks the crowd if they want to see Jericho versus Hook. But Jericho says, nah, this is a learning moment and a teaching moment. I want to teach you that the world doesn't revolve around you. You need to be less selfish when it comes to the business. Wants them to think of others. The crowd then chants, please retire Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
In loud fucking, they're letting you know, please retire. He then says, I know you want me to retire, but I won't. Because when I retire, I'll be in every wrestling Hall of Fame possible. But I'm not ready to retire yet. Which is a bar because he will be.
Yeah.
From there, it's just him and Big Bill. He says they're here to entertain everybody. He says the For the World title. It's not the Hook title. He says, I'll give you a qualification match, and if you win, you're going to have to face, you'll end up facing Jericho for the World Championship or the FTW Championship. Hook says he agrees to that. He then hits Jericho with the microphone. He gets jumped by Big Bill. Shibata comes out to help Hook. End of the segment. We get a Swerve promo where Swerve is saying he's in the chapter of the Mogul Embassy. He said they beat the hand that fed them, and they had to get put down. He says Brian Cage is the final nail in that coffin. So then we get Swerve versus Brian Cage, which was a dope match. Swerve comes out hot, some knees to the chest. We have a dope suplex from Brian Cage on the ropes. A crazy little counter from Swerve out of a Brian Cage clothesline. And Swerve pulling off a fucking brainbuster against Brian Cage, which once again, I am definitely underestimating the strength that some of these dudes have, man. Like that's just fucking insane. Because Brian Cage is a big fucking dude.
Yeah.
As Swerve's finishing off Cage, he ends up getting the match is over. He ends up getting low blowed by Nick Wayne, and then get jumped by Kill Switch. The Patriarchy's out there. They then take a framed picture of Swerve's family and smash it against this man's head, which leaves this man end up leaking. Once again, this whole glass thing, I don't really agree with it, but y'all grown, y'all do what the fuck y'all want to do. This man's cut. It's.
I don't think it was real glass. I mean, I think he bladed. I mean, I don't know the way Swerve bleeds. He leaks. Pause. It's not like a hemophiliac or whatever the fuck it's called, but yeah, once he bleed, it was almost like you turned a hose on, low. Like he
like goddamn,
he fucking leaks. I don't want to make the show longer, but I'm really upset, and I'm upset because I feel like I gotta defend this fucking asshole Swerve again. I don't understand.
Whose house? Go ahead. What you got?
Christian's house, man. It's the house of Cage, baby. It's I don't want to go into a tangent. I just I don't know, man. I do not feel like they are presenting Swerve correctly. I feel like with the Tony Khan, when he took the driver from the Young Bucks, and Swerve winning, being the first black champion, I feel like they booked those two things and didn't have a long-term plan for them.
I think you are correct in a sense in that. I think that the one that should have been leading Team AEW should have been Swerve. And I think after you did the presser and you're sitting there with Tony, like he gave you the ball, he made you the quarterback. I think it's your duty now as the head guy of the brand to then go against, the EVPs. That was the bigger story that should have been told there. That's how I feel personally.
Yeah, especially since he called them out before they said, "Oh, your next challenger is Cage." And I mean, since you brought it up, we'll talk about it more later when we get the surprise for the replacement of Kingston. Team AEW, 3 out of the 4 members are people that were signed with WWE when AEW was already like a year into its life. It just doesn't.
It's true.
Make any sense to me. Because again, we like what we were saying. What we were saying with the women's roster, like they have a deep ass roster. Like this would have been a time to maybe pause the Orange Cassidy feud for a hot second. Add Cassidy. If Darby was healthy, add a Darby. Spoiler alert. Just like Daniel Garcia. I don't know, someone who are like AEW, originals. But you have FTR and Bryan Danielson as Team AEW. Yeah. I don't know. To me, it's weird. I do understand it, and the way that they're doing it. It's not like it doesn't make. It makes sense. It doesn't make sense, but it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. It's not like it's super crazy, but I would say it is all. It's not super crazy, but it is questionable.
It is, and I'm looking through the roster right now, and it's crazy because there's not really a lot of people that you could have put in that position outside of Swerve. I mean, maybe not, because you could have did I don't know, bro. In a perfect world, you could have probably did Swerve, and then if Lucha Bros are healthy, and then Ricky Starks. And ran that.
Right, who is not injured and just hasn't been on TV since late March, but that's a different conversation. But yeah, no, they could have, in a perfect world, yeah. In a perfect world, it would have been the 4 pillars, right? But minus Jack Perry, because Jack Perry's part of Elite. So then, in a perfect world, MJF, Darby, not Sammy, but for sure MJF and Darby.
Hangman.
Hangman.
Like you would have had like.
Well, he's probably in the
But
elite.
the thing is, a lot of those
part of the elite.
people are like they're also injured too.
Yeah,
so
we
like,
were talking about Perfect World. This was just
That's true. My bad.
But yeah, like a Daniel Garcia or a Sammy Guevara or a Darby Allin, MJF, Cassidy.
You could do like maybe you
Pac.
throw the Acclaimed in there as the tag team. Pac, like
Acclaimed.
You could have in a perfect world, maybe Jay White's a baby face. Jay White's a great one to have to go against like the elite.
He doesn't even have to be a baby face. He could just be like, "Fuck the elite."
It's true.
I'm team AEW. Fuck these elite ass motherfuckers. They didn't sign me when they could have. It was Tony Khan who's like that could be the story. Like they didn't sign me. Tony Khan signed me. They could have brought me with them when they first started this company, but they left me in Japan. And then Tony Khan's the one that brought me to America. Like that's an easy story right there. Came off the top of my fucking head.
Yeah, I feel like they should have like pushed this story when everybody was available. I think like that would have been a way better angle to do.
But
yeah,
anyway,
you're not wrong. I agree. Christian says something like, "You embarrassed my son at his gym in his hometown last year, and now he's forced to embarrass you." Asks Swerve if his daughter would be proud of him, then smears a picture of his family on his face. Very fucking disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight he took Swerve's blood. In 2 weeks he's going to take his world championship. He says each week he's going to take something from him. He took the Mogul Embassy from him this week he's taking his blood. Next week is going to be something else.
I mean, wait, didn't he bleed last week too? Well, I mean, no, fuck all that. No, fuck the embassy. The embassy's ass. You took a dread off of me last week.
Yeah, he cut a dread off.
Y'all took a dread. You took a dread. You took my gang, and you got a picture of my daughter, who he doesn't really talk to that much. So obviously, you guys were Instagram stalking a nigga, and then went to Kinko's or something to get a picture printed. I can't believe I'm defending Swerve on a third week.
I love it.
I might as well just move to Washington. Let me just vote for the fucking... Anyway, I hate it.
We then get Hook Shibata promo. So Hook says odds mean nothing. He'll beat whoever he has to. Shibata is also in the tournament for the FTW or championship, but not because he wants it, but just because he wants to get back at Jericho. Ends up saying, even me. Hook says, push come to shove, I'll take you there if it means I got to get my hands on Jericho. We then get a GOAT fucking appearance from the man himself, Samoa Joe. He shows up. He's like, really? He's like, who are you? He's like, it wasn't too long ago I thought you was something special. He's watching you make the same mistake over and over again. And now Jericho got you at your own man's neck. And it's sad. He said, if you two stop playing yourself, you actually might be dangerous around here. He just walks off. Joe is fucking great. That man is a fucking legend. As Joe walks away, Hook says he'll fight him too. The promo ends with Shibata using the voiceover saying, that man's too large to be wearing a floral pattern, which is funny, but it's true. We had Tony Storm versus Harley Cameron. This is more just like I want to say like a filler match. I'm not too sure. I haven't really paying attention to like the Outcast story.
I have a problem with this match also.
Some couple spots is that there's a turnbuckle backstabber into a DDT, then into a fucking fisherman suplex by Tony Storm. I love the finish of the fake punch into the power driver. I thought that was kind of cool. And then my overall thoughts on Tony Storm is just put on like a master class for like women's wrestling or just women being a woman wrestler with the level of creativity that she has. Like her story's great, her character's great. She's put on good matches. It's still very entertaining. I have nothing bad to say about Tony Storm herself.
I disagree saying that her story is great because she doesn't have a story. In ring wise,
like the story of like her coddling fucking Mariah and like slowly fucking losing her grip on reality and shit.
To me, if that's the story that they're really trying to convey, to me, it's not. I'm not getting that. Like, obviously, Tony Storm has. To me, Tony Storm already lost her reality. Once shit started going black and white,
Black and white.
to me, that's already like you already lost. Like when she first did, like, you know, chin up, tits up, watch out for the shoe. To me, the reality was already lost. But with her possibly losing Mariah May due to what's the Japanese homegirl, Ami or
Mira.
Yeah, whatever that fucking
Sure.
it's a lesbian storyline that they have not explained. I'm not complaining about women kissing each other, but they just never explained. They have yet to explain it. So it's like, what's going on? So yeah, it seems like eventually Tony's going to lose Mariah. Maybe the student fights the master, sure, but it's to me they're just not conveying that 100%. But if we just ignore that part, so fuck that part. No, like Tony Storm, still a great fucking wrestler in ring. This particular character is great. My problem with this match is that everyone was barred from ringside. Granted, Harley Cameron, this is her second or third week on Dynamite TV. I think she's been on ROH before, but like as far as Dynamite, I don't think she's been on this much. And for whatever reason, Tony Storm is having a hard time with her. Meanwhile, Tony Storm is also supposed to be the heel, but based off of what happened last week, even though Serena was like, I have Caesars and I want to take you to Little Caesars, the crowd was still like booing her. So like, is she the heel now? Like, so who's the heel? Who's the face?
I can see that.
And then,
I can see where
and
you're
then also
from.
it's like, why is Tony Storm struggling with Haley? And it's like, and if everyone's counter is going to be like, well, Carmelo fought Cody or blah blah, like there's levels to storytelling, and to me, the story of this match is Tony already has a number one contender, and that's Serena. So the better story would have been for Tony to squash somebody in front of Serena and be like, "You're next, bitch. You're on this ramp. You're sitting here smiling like you're kissing babies and shit, watching this match on the ramp. I just beat this bitch in 2 minutes. You're next, especially because you punched me and knocked me out the following week." But instead, she's having a 50, another, like, again, like, for whatever reason, certain people have all these random 50, like, again, like, I understand that they want to be different. AEW is supposed to be alternative, but sometimes squash matches are good, especially if you're trying to maintain the strongness or the fucking power ranking of of a champion. This match was too long.
I will agree with you. In the promo that she did earlier, she did mention the punch and everything like that. I should have jotted down notes, but she did say she didn't bring that up. But I do agree that like what makes this good isn't the story that's being told. It's just Tony Storm and her timeless character. She makes this all fucking good because there is no story. It doesn't make any sense to where, like, you know, maybe I have to go back and watch, you know, more Collision and see where, like, the connection between Harley and her happened. But even then, it still doesn't make any sense because it's not a longevity, like, story. This is, like, a week-to-week kind of, like, story. And I will say that if you're having a fucking story based around, like, a champion, like, the world title, the women's title, it should have a little bit more, you know, clear-cut, like, oh, this is why Harley did this. Because last week, she was with Serena Deeb, and she's supposed to have a match, and then Tony interfered in her match, and now she wants a match with Tony to kind of like settle shit. All right, whatever the case may be, fuck it, it makes sense. But yes, you are right. It did take too long. She is a champion. She should have, like, you know, put pause on her and got in, got out.
Right.
In the long...
I'm sorry. They try to bill it as a grudge match, which to me is like, based off what you just said.
I got to go back and see.
Yeah.
Like, I got to see, like, when this happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's only like a 2-week thing. That's why it's, I don't know. It's just confusing.
Yeah. There's a lot of different, like, edges or tree limbs that need to be, like, kind of like trimmed off for this Tony Storm, like, storyline. Yeah. Because even with, like, Deeb came out of nowhere, it's like, okay, was she on the rankings? Like, is this how... What the fuck's going on? So I will agree.
And
Tony definitely makes all of this
and
way more enjoyable.
Yeah, and Diva's great. She's like, honestly,
she's great.
I think she should honestly take it off of her. Personally, I don't think she will. I don't think she will, but I think she should. But like, no, Diva's great, but it's too like. I honestly, I think the problem is what you kind of just said a second ago, to where it's like, it's again, it's kind of like Tony's character at this point almost outweighs, or it overshadows the championship itself, because now it's really not about the championship. It's about it's about Tony, and it's very similar to what I don't remember what episode it was. It was in one of our single digit episodes, but I was like, it reminds me of the Fiend, and I don't want it to go to Fiend territories, because it's like, if you're like, if everything just weighs on how cool this character is, and like, then that could overshadow a lot. Like, it could overshadow the story. It could overshadow a bunch of shit, to where it's like, it's all about, like, we're more entertained by the character of this, or the antics of this character, than what the character really is actually trying to like do, and if the character is actually uplifting the division.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. So it's like the Fiend was great. Did the Fiend need a title in the first 5 months of its creation? No, it didn't. And because of that, it fucked up a lot of other things. And I'm not like, Tony Storm's character isn't on the Fiend level, but I would say per se wise, it's like, her character is so good to where it doesn't matter who she's facing at this point. We still we love her character so much, we don't want her to fucking lose.
Right.
And now it's like, it's going to turn because her character's funny, and it's kind of like it's a parody of a 1950s actor. So essentially, it's a gimmick character and it's a comedic character. So that makes the title damn near comedic, based off of all the fucking feuds that this character has had. So it doesn't make the title feel that important.
Yeah, I will. I agree to the extent that, like, the level of character, like, craftsmanship that she has with her character, and like the detail, and like, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna call out this person, I'm gonna wrestle this style. It overshadows all the storylines that they've been put like in front of her, because it's so fucking good. But yeah, eventually you kind of want to see where that fucking goes, and maybe at Double or Nothing we'll kind of get a more clear cut like idea where they're going next. Maybe somebody pops back up. Like, we'll see. We get the contract signing between Willow and Mercedes. Mm-hmm. Says she's not gonna let her walk in AEW and take the title from her.
Yeah.
She then talks about like her background and shit that Willow talks about her background and shit that she's been through and whatnot. And Mercedes bars her up and says, "You want to talk about legacy to me? Back in 2015, I was out here changing the game forever, breaking down doors. You wouldn't be here without me." She says she thinks she's a great champion, but there's a difference between being great and the greatest of all time. Her legacy is all about winning. I was like, damn, she got a lot of shit to back that shit up. Willow comes out and says, well, she does. Sasha is in people's greatest of all time list. She might be number one to some people. She is number one to some people.
She was in my top 5 for the longest time. But now, no. Now, to me, no. I saw a lot of the internet be like, "Oh, Sasha or Mercedes cut her best promo," and like, it was a fine promo, but it
was a good promo.
It's Willow. Honestly, to me, even though Willow, again, she has that. I told you she has that disease of just sounds too nice. Even when she's being mean and power bombing bitches through tables, she still like comes off way too nice. But to me, like Willow's promo was better in this segment. To me,
I do like Willow's promo because Willow's promo kind of like made it seemed like, okay, you're gonna talk this shit. I'm gonna bounce back. I'm gonna show you that this ain't no fucking walk in the park. Willow's promo was good. I will say that her promo was better than Mercedes, but Mercedes also didn't have a bad half to this. Willow says, last time we wrestled, I became a champion, and you didn't walk out at all.
Bar.
Mercedes then slaps Willow, which ends up Willow clearing the fucking table and power bombing her to the table with the Doctor Bomb. Still my favorite fucking finisher right now. I haven't seen nothing else yet that was like, that's the one. But Doctor Bomb is fucking great. Like I said, dope segment. Proud of where Willow is. I'm excited for the match. I just don't want Willow to lose. I think your best move is to have Mercedes lose at Double or Nothing. For me. Business-wise, it could say something else. But we won't know until next week.
Dude, honestly, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I like this feeling, though.
Paper-wise, if we're just... And I hate using on paper. I hate using that as an argument. But on paper, everything has been booked and built for Miss Mercedes to win this belt off of Willow. Especially because obviously Mercedes is a way better heel. But, Willow could lose and then Mercedes goes full heel and then we get a rematch. That could work for sure. Oh, man. Yeah. I don't know.
And it's crazy. Like, on paper-wise, you are right. Also, on paper-wise, we have seen teams go undefeated and get beat by Eli Manning. Anything could fucking happen.
No, we got to bring that shit up, bro. You could have.
I forgot you was a Patriots fan.
You could have said anything. No, this was fine. It's fine.
My bad. I forgot.
I wasn't fully watching at that point yet. I didn't see the first loss. I saw the second loss, though. That second loss was my first official Super Bowl. Wes Welker. Jesus Christ. Catch the ball, dude.
Fucking shit. We then get Okada versus Dax. This is my match of the week. I really enjoyed this one. I think it's more so I love the Continental rules. I love the 20-second count out. I love the no interference and just two dudes just fucking beating the hell out of each other. Finish wise, wasn't too so on it, but I nevertheless still enjoyed the match. The finish, Okada's going toe to toe with Dax. It doesn't look to be a clear-cut indicator when he can get his Rainmaker in. So he ends up going out the ring, grabs his belt to try to hit Dax with the belt. It's all a ploy. He ends up distracting the ref. What looks to be an attempt to go for a low blow.
It was supposed to be
turns into a kick to the head. And he kicks him in the head. And then that's how he wins the match.
Yeah.
All in all, everything else is good except for that. I was just like, I didn't see it.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I have a problem with this. Because, again, look, Okada's. I've actually seen an Okada match. I watched a New Japan match. I saw one of the Okada Kenny matches. I want to say it was Okada Kenny 2 or Okada Kenny 3. I don't remember which one. It was when Cody was in the Bullet Club at that point. But again, Okada's amazing. He was he was a huge crazy ass free agent for a reason. And AEW has this problem with signing crazy ass big people and then just turning them into regular people. But I digress. My problem with this is that as good as Dax is, he is a tag team person. Granted, Dax has had a lot of single matches in AEW. To my recollection, I think he's 1 in 15 in single matches. So in saying that, it's it's like Xavier Woods having a 20-minute banger with Roman Reigns. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, could they have a good 5-minute, 10-minute match?
He can't have no banger at Roman.
No, Xavier Woods is amazing. but if we're talking about power rankings, right? If we're talking about power, like Dax he's a tag team person. So therefore, being a tag team person, technically single wise, you shouldn't be as powerful because technically you should be at your peak power as a tag team. And then you take that part and you plus it with the fact that every single match he's ever had has been a loss. Why the fuck is he going this long with someone with Japanese Roman Cena? There's no reason. Like, I just feel like if you combine both those two things, both those two aspects, it just is like, why is he doing? Like, it shouldn't be this long. But
God damn,
it's a good match. It's a good match. That's just I'll look. We'll call that a nitpick. It's a good match. I think it's still questionable, especially because you're building up to this fucking Anarchy in the Arena shit. But to me, it's questionable because Okada was one of the biggest free agents besides Jay White and Mercedes that AEW, like both AEW and WWE and everyone else wanted. And then he's going fucking 15, 20 minutes with a dude who's never won a singles match.
I think a lot of things played into a part, though. Like, the injury thing with Kenny really shook shit up because they knew they were getting Okada before Kenny was sidelined. So I think by this time we was kind of betting on an Okada Kenny at like a double or nothing or some shit like that. To where now you kind of had to pivot a little bit and pivot a little bit longer. We're still going to get Kenny versus fucking Okada, but it's just going to come at a later date. To where now it's like, what the fuck do we do with Okada? Okay, we have him join the Elite. We'll go and fucking on a rampage and we'll probably win the Anarchy in the Arena. And then we'll just continue to do like fucking heel shit or whatnot. But I would assume and hope that like maybe down the line you see Jay White go against Okada. Maybe fucking Samoa Joe, like something. We gotta give him, the right competition that makes the most fucking sense. Because I do agree that, Dax as like the competitor for the Continental doesn't make any sense. We could have just had a one-on-one match without the belt, because what gives Dax the rankings to go for the title? Like that in itself, like we don't believe Dax is beating fucking Okada for the Continental. I did look at
was
Dax,
this a title match?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right because you said fucking yeah. Why the fuck did he even have a title match? What the fuck? Why was that a title? Like, yeah. Okay. So yeah. All right. So no. Okay. That's lazy booking. The reason why it was a title match is so that there wouldn't be interference, which you could have just said, "Oh, TK says like." When I asked you the question,
nobody believes in TK though, because TK like is out. So you got to do Continental to kind of like give the no interference fucking aspect, because nobody's going to believe. Oh, hey, TK said no interference. That's right now. Everybody's saying fuck TK. We're going to do what the fuck we want to do anyway.
He's the boss.
Not technically the EVP.
He doesn't
right now.
That's the story.
That's what I'm saying. Story wise,
this nigga is the CEO. He was drafting people in a net brace. You're telling me he can't Zoom Tony Schiavone while he's in Jacksonville and be like, "Yo, I need this match. I want this to happen." And that's so me asking that is why I asked the question earlier. Like, do you think with some of the storylines that they did, with whether it was the TK angle taking the driver or whether it was the first black champion, do you think they had a long-term plan? Because to me, it doesn't seem like they had a long-term plan. Like Tony Khan is a babyface billionaire. Like he's the opposite of Vince. So therefore he should be beloved. So long-term wise, whenever he does come back, he should be getting revenge, right? He should be booking certain things to make the Elite hell, right? So it's like, are you guys doing, like, is that a plan? Because like, how is Kenny booking a match in a fucking hospital bed, but you tell me Tony Khan can't book a match via Skype in Jacksonville? Like, what?
Prior to them showing the fucking Punk footage, I would have been like, Yeah, they ain't got no story. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Now with the situation, where Jack comes back, he's fucking hot as ever. I don't know. I can't predict them, but I can't take them out of the conversation where like they might know what the fuck they're doing because they know they got their stuff out of the biggest fucking hole possible, and then fell into another hole afterwards. But that's a whole different story. We already went over that. As far as the way they tell stories, it's not like what we've seen in the E. It may look fucking unorthodox as fuck because it probably is. But they got a fucking end goal in sight. Like, they know what the fuck they're doing on their end.
I have to disagree because they have not proven that they could finish up. The only time I've seen them finish a long-term story was Hangman versus Kenny. Ever since then, I have not seen a story that was long-term that panned out correctly.
I would have to do my research.
At least
on that
in my opinion. Since I've been watching, the best long-term storyline was Hangman, and that eventually led to Kenny, which led to Hangman's first title because they were tag team. He became a depressed alcoholic cowboy, all this other stuff. The belt collector happened. I
would definitely have to go back because I'm not too sure. And also, like, we still got to wait to see how the fucking MJF story pans out because they could really fumble that shit too. But I don't know. I don't think they will. But we'll see.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on how long he comes back, but also it depends on if Adam Cole's healthy. Like, honestly, this group should already break up. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Man,
we do got him out the boot. He is out the boot. He's walking around now. So maybe we'll see. Post match, Elite come out. They attack Dax, followed by Daniel or Bryan Danielson and Cash, and then your boy.
Okay.
Treacherous little twin.
Before I get in this shit again, real quick, why is Daniel in this match, man? We last saw him get injured,
and
with
there's a story with that too.
Claudio was in
cutting a promo. And, Claudio walked off. He was like, "Okay, you gonna cut this promo about them? I'm out of this bitch." So like, there's story there that I don't know. I don't know what they're leading to. They didn't explain that. Nothing. I have no fucking idea. But yes, I don't know why Daniel's here. Maybe it's just because Daniel wants to be in something before he fucking fully retires, but not retires. I think Daniel's just getting out shit that he wants to do.
Well, he definitely wants.
Even next week, he's going against Santam Singh next week. Like, Daniel's doing whatever the fuck Daniel wants to do, and then he's out.
What the fuck is he going to do against? Oh, Jesus Christ, man!
Daniel's doing whatever the fuck he wants to do. Did you not?
No, I understand. I understand that, and I appreciate that part. And that's what Adam Copeland's doing. Like, they're doing the shit that the E wouldn't let them do. I understand that. Why the fuck are you fighting Santam Singh? What the fuck, dude? You just made me upset. I'm like, what?
I will be there. I will be watching that shit because I'm trying to figure out what are you gonna do.
He's gonna beat his ass and put him in a fucking what's Danielson's submission move? The fucking that's so upsetting. That's so stupid. Why is he fighting Santam Singh? What the fuck?
I don't know.
And also, speaking of Team AEW, again, like as far as participants, why isn't it Will? Ospreay is like the biggest Team AEW person right now. It should be Will, Swerve, Healthy Darby, and fucking, I don't know, man. But FTR versus the Bucks for the 30th time, not good. Bryanson has zero reason in this shit. Kingston was a fine choice, but they replaced him with, they replaced him with my twin, and that nigga's name is, please, I'm sorry, I cut you off so I can go into another rant. Who was the person that showed up today?
The good man, Darby, made out of adamantium, Allin, is the last member of Team AEW.
My bad. I thought his middle name was Darby. Why won't you fucking die already, Allin?
God damn.
And that's not me asking. That's not me wishing for death. That's like,
I ain't never had to edit something out of a podcast.
No, that's not me.
God,
no, that's not wishing for death. It's just like, movie wise. This is when a villain's like, "Why haven't you died already?" This nigga got hit by a bus 2 weeks ago. His foot is still not healed. It's okay, Tony. If you're listening to this, Tony Khan, dog, if you're listening to this, look, man. Hey, I had my fun time on the icy slopes, all right? Wink, wink. I've had my fun time experimenting, my guy. But hey, it's okay to say no to people, okay? Especially if it means protecting them in the long run. It's okay to say no. Why the fuck is Darby Allin out here? The nigga got hit by a bus 2 weeks ago. We were literally just talking about it on episode 15.
Broken nose.
His foot's not healed.
Broken foot. I don't know. But that man's out there. The way they moving is like they ain't got nobody like actively available, but I know that's a fucking lie because I know they got people on the roster.
They got a stacked ass fucking roster, and like, oh, hey, we're in Everett, Washington, so what could we do? Let's get a big.
It was the pop. They wanted the pop. They didn't need it, but they wanted it.
Oh man,
yeah.
If he does this match, bro, dog. I might have to.
Shit, to be honest, bro, you could have threw Dustin Rhodes in Team AEW. That would have made sense to me. I'd have been cool with that.
Honestly, Samoa Joe would be better at this point. Granted, he was also technically WWE, but at least he's good on the mic and he's good at the ring. But look, man, hey, if Darby does this match, I low-key might call CPS or OSHA. Someone needs to fucking look into some shit because what the fuck is going on? Say no. He's literally limping. That match against Sting at Revolution happened in March. I don't. Yeah. Oh, dude, he got hit by a bus.
Yeah, to bring and you know, like they're doing it just because like it's just the pillar aspect. They want to do a pillar versus pillar. That's okay, but not right now.
No, well,
you could have you could have brought Ricky. They already
did that.
Ricky so far only has 5 matches in 2024. We could have did Ricky Starks in this. I'm okay with that.
Haven't seen Ricky Starks since late March. Last time we saw him was him celebrating Cody.
He lost the belt.
He lost the belt in late March. But we haven't seen him on AEW since then. We've seen him WrestleMania when he was celebrating Cody's win and tinfoil hat. I think he's in trouble. Otherwise, why he's on TV? He's one of your best stars. He has great charisma. He looks great, and he's a good wrestler. And he hasn't been on TV since March 20-something.
Do you think Ricky got good charisma? I don't know, and I only say that because like. I don't get what Ricky Stark's gimmick is.
I would say he has better charisma than a Ethan Page or a Jeff Cobb or a Willer Yuta or better than Daniel Garcia, and I like Daniel Garcia. But I watched Ricky Starks in NWA before he went to AEW. He has a lot of potential. It just has to be, brought out, which, happens to a lot of the people. Sometimes,
This is not, like, I have no personal beef against Ricky Starks. And I just don't know, like, what the pull is. But for a lot of wrestlers, I never knew what the fucking pull was. Like, Orange, I didn't understand it. Like, Sami Zayn, I didn't understand it. Like, Ricky Starks is in that same vein for me where I just do not understand, like, the pull. It has nothing to do with, like, him personally or his in-ring ability. I just want to know, like, what's the draw?
He's good on the mic. He's handsome. He has a good body. He has an awesome pose. But that's just me off the cuff. Cassidy, I like Cassidy because, I like the gimmick. But, like, once he won that title, his first reign, that's when I was like, oh, he can really fucking go. I don't know. It's shit like that. But... Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry, you guys. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Darby, my birthday twin. I love that part. Hate everything else about him. Dude, stay home. Like, whether you're religious or not, there's universal signs telling you to sit the fuck down, and you're refusing to do it. So if something bad happens to you, am I allowed to not feel sorry because I don't want to? You should be.
You also gotta like
You should be healing.
At this point, we're
He's
just too
limping.
invested. Let him do what he wants to do. Like, let him do what he clearly. Other people have probably said the same thing. I don't think we're the only people that have like the same outlook on what Darby's doing. Clearly, people around him are saying the same thing. He's going to do what he wants to do. That's the biggest thing I can see from this. And just take away that Darby is going to do whatever the fuck Darby Allin wants to do, and let that man do what he wants to do.
And that's when we go into the CM Punk interview with Ariel, and it's like, Tony Khan's a good guy, but he's not a fucking boss. Because again, sometimes you have to say no. Dude, you literally broke your foot a month ago. A month and like 2 weeks ago.
But it's also not like, you know...
And then hit by a bus.
I don't know. This is a lot of shit I don't know. But the broken foot part, we know that we've seen wrestlers wrestle with fucking injuries before, minor or major. Are they supposed to do it? Fuck no. But do they still do it? Absolutely. You know, it's shit. We're looking at right now, Seth is out because Seth was wrestling with some fucking crazy ass injury.
Right, and Asuka wrestled for a while, and Drew wrestled. Yeah, and
Drew, same fucking thing. It's just Darby just is the one that like he likes to glorify it in just a way that's not fucking normal. But yeah, come on, we gotta get through SmackDown.
Yeah, let's get through it.
Let's blow through this. Let's go.
All right, okay, cool. All right, so SmackDown. Woo! All right, so we start off with action. We get Bianca versus Tiffany Stratton to start the show. EST versus Tiffy time is and besides having an actual match, they were low key having a fucking fit off too, because both of their fucking outfits were fucking awesome. And I didn't write too many spots.
No, it wasn't a spot fest.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't spot fest. It was really just some good ass fucking wrestling. It was literally pure, and this is their first time meeting. And I like majority of the match when I was watching it, I was like, man, I can't wait to see this match a year from now, because obviously Bianca's season at this point, Tiffany is still not that season, and she's like she's having multiple really good matches. Like she's been really good on the main roster, which is why they're putting her in the position that she's putting in. But no, like one of the first note I wrote is two pure athletes doing athletic shit. And Bianca's still selling a knee, which is part of the storyline for the tournament, which is cool.
Showcase of the NILs for sure, like just athletes wrestling.
Yeah, just good shit. Let's say, good job. Okay, yeah. So it was a good job to keep these two apart for this long, because ever since Tiffany showed up to the main roster, her and Bianca were already like at odds or at each other's throat. Tiffany showed up in March or February, and her and Bianca don't touch until fucking May. Like they held it off, and they did a really good job at it. And this was a really good first meeting. It was a really good ass match. Another match that I got. This is awesome chance. Fuck man. There's a point where TT, I wrote her as TT to keep shit short. She rakes B's eyes and try to get like a 2 count, or she tries to get a pin, ends up with a 2 count. It was a good match, but it ends with a KOD, and Bianca wins. She cuts a promo after the match saying, I'm not going to use this knee as an excuse. I'm just going to do my shit, and I'm going to be queen of the ring. And it was a good ass match.
A great opener. They gave him like 13 to 14 minutes. Like it was a long match.
Yeah.
They did what they had to. Good athletes, good match. I have nothing bad to say about this. Nothing to say like crazy at all. Just solid. The one-legged KOD was fucking insane though. I did like that a lot. Yeah,
it was good shit, man. Yeah, Tiffany's the future. This is awesome. It's awesome. She's getting good work. She's been on the main roster for 3 months, and since then she's had a triple threat for the title in France. She was in Elimination Chamber. She's had 2 1v1s against Naomi. Yeah, Tiffany's in a fucking good ass spot, and again, she's only in her 3rd year of wrestling. That's fucking awesome. Anyway, So after that, we get a Logan Paul. Logan Paul has a face-to-face. He has a quick face-to-face with LA Knight because LA Knight's leaving Nick Aldis's room, and Logan Paul is trying to get into Nick Aldis's room. So I feel like this is a little seed for what I thought was going to happen at SummerSlam in August, which would be LA Knight versus Logan. But we'll see. They could always go a different route because honestly, LA Knight, we see him a couple times during the show, which so shout out to his fans.
Yeah.
Because there's, again, like, stands, whether it's Bianca stands, Naomi stands, Tiffany stands, LA Knight stands, yada, yada, yada. Like, it's okay, you guys. Sometimes our favorites do not win. Sometimes our favorites might not be on the show. Tonight, LA Knight, he was on camera for 4 or 5 different times, having multiple different interactions. So if you're a LA Knight stan and you're worried about his push, you are in good standing. Just be patient. You're good. We're good. And ever since Mania, LA Knight has been fucking cooking, and we'll get to that fucking a little bit later. But yeah, LA Knight and Logan have a face-to-face. They don't really say much, but Logan goes into the Rube. After that, we get a Jade promo. Jade does a promo for a match against Nia Jax. Before that ends, her and Bianca talk, and they hype each other up. And Jade's like, I'm trying to take this shit match to match. And Bianca's like, hey, that's dope. I can't wait to face you next week or whatever. It's going to be you and I, like a real cool-ass match. But handle your business, yada, yada. It's pretty simple. Then after that, we get one of the viral moments that all of online has been talking about. You want to lead us into the Tama Tonga?
We got a Bloodline promo, man. And Tama Tonga sounds like a Cyberman about to kill Yamcha. I first saw him, and I was like, oh, man, this man reminds me of Tommy Davidson in Ace Ventura when he's the little African man.
Bro, that is the... Okay, no, dead ass. That was... Because I was trying to think of it for so long. Like, there's... Okay, first of all, there's like 30 cartoons that he sounds exactly like. And the best examples that I saw was... Beavis and Butthead, Cornholio sounds exactly like that. And the other best example was I last put in the chat was Billy from Billy and Mandy. Yeah. But in the car, I was like, no, there's a live action, and I was like, it's fucking Ace Ventura. I am so glad, bro. This is why we host this shit. Yes, nigga, you are so correct. That was exactly from Ace Ventura.
Yes.
When Nature Calls. Yes.
Fucking fighting Jim Carrey, and he's a little African man in the fucking face paint. Oh my god!
And he moves his jaws. Oh my god! Y'all don't understand. Loner the other day was like, "I got an example for y'all on the pod. Just wait." And in my car ride home for work, that's when the fucking Ace Ventura shit hit. And we have not talked, so this is all new. And this is the 30th time we've had a mind meld. This is good shit, bro. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, bro,
it's so good.
That was it,
bro. Honestly, dead ass. That's the only one I haven't seen online. You got to put that in our fucking on our social media.
I'll find that clip. I'll find it. Yeah, I'll find that for sure, because that's exactly what I saw.
Yeah.
With this though, fuck, I wish I never did this shit, because he has never talked.
No,
he didn't say one word yet, nothing. But the first clip you put of this motherfucker, he's doing this shit, and the thing is, people who watch News Japan was like, "Yo, he did not do this shit. This is not normal."
Yeah, he's never done this.
This is not him. Never done this shit before. So now I'm losing like credibility in your enforcer because he don't fucking talk. He was looking fucking crazy. Solo get a new haircut, think he fucking, the new guy.
Yeah, he looks like the
other dude ain't even said shit. He looked like Armando Estrada. Well, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Now I'm not invested, bro. And now we got this same shit where y'all going against the same motherfuckers, bullying the same individuals. I'm done. In this though, I believe in the same promo, Paul Heyman asks Solo if he spoke to Roman again. And Roman's like, "Oh, of course I spoke to him." Solo, my bad. He's like, "Of course I spoke to him." And I think the theory is that, like, or fan speculation, that he's not talking to Roman, he's talking to Rock as like the his tribal chief he's talking to is Rock.
Yeah,
that's where he's getting like his swag from.
Yeah, it's either that or he's just lying.
That too.
It could be either.
We get
after that we get a
LA Knight.
Yeah, we get an LA Knight promo, which Carmelo Hayes interrupts. Again,
compares himself to TB12.
Yeah. Well, hey, no. Shout out to LA Knight for that. A GOAT, 7-ring champion, by the way, you guys. Edward Patrick Brady Jr. Anyway, Carmelo comes out. Yeah, LA Knight compares himself to Tom Brady. I forgot the exact comparison, but it was a legit.
Who was the first pick when Tom Brady was drafted?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I don't know either.
Yeah,
I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, bars. I don't know either. Yeah, and then this is when LA Knight flexes. Like he flexes hard, like because Carmelo's like what the crowd's gonna be saying
the
is
most important letters.
Yeah,
won't be RKO. They'll be saying HIM.
And LA Knight's like, good, you can spell. And then he's like, you want to go back for back? You want to go pop for pop? I bet. And he's like, with everybody saying, ow, and the whole fucking similar to when The Rock was like in the millions and millions, like in the backstage. LA Knight. Absolute fucking flex. You want to go pop for pop, nigga? I bet. Like, nah.
And then says, no, go play somewhere. I'm busy.
Yeah. Go play somewhere.
Cooked.
Fucking kid.
Finished. Finito.
Yeah.
Chopped up.
Which is funny. I wonder, because since they have so many threads, I wonder if they'll bring up the fact that they were in war games against each other, new heads versus old heads. I wonder if they'll bring that up ever. But I do, granted, the very first week I was on Team Carmelo because Bobby is a hating ass nigga. But these last 2 weeks, Carmelo, he got that young bull energy, and we got to get that shit out of here. You don't know shit about, you don't know nothing about this young buck.
We try to pull the you ain't got no charisma card that he did on Bobby and got that shit shut down by LA Knight.
Yeah,
immediately.
Absolutely.
We get the Tama versus LA Knight match. The notes I took was that we want Roman chance happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the last time LA Knight was not involved with the Bloodline, with the exception of this February because he was doing the shit with AJ. He has been battling some variation of the form of the Bloodline since October of 2023. This is all he's been working. Like, we gotta move it. This is why the superstar shakeup and draft was supposed to be so fucking important, because come on, push this shit through, bro. He done fought Jimmy. He done fought Jay. He done fought Roman. He done fought Solo. Now he's fighting Tama. All he's known so far is fucking Bloodline. Push. Come on.
Other than Bray, yes. But I agree with you. I would say that there is a reason for that, and it's similar to what I was saying about Damage Control earlier, where it's like Bloodline is always going to be it's either always going to be the A plot or it's always going to be the B plot. And right now, Cody, the two main stories that's going on are, I would say, the top stories on SmackDown is Cody and Logan, and then whatever the fuck the Bloodline's doing. And LA Knight is one of the most over characters. Same with Randy, same with Kevin Owens. And I think that's just one of the reasons where it's like, you're going to keep butting heads with this crazy ass gang because you're fucking over and you're popular and you got shit if you want to get ahead in life, you got to fight these people at some point because they still run things, unfortunately.
For fucking a year plus?
Bro, Kevin Owens has been fighting them longer than anybody.
He ain't wrestled nobody regular since the Miz, nigga. Since September. It's been Jimmy. Like I said, Jimmy.
No. He had Santos last week. He had the other El Gato nigga the week before.
Yeah, Grayson Waller 3 times. Santos 1 time. It's been Bloodline, bro. This nigga has fought Solo Sikoa so much on these house shows. It's fucking insane, nigga.
Yeah, you're fine. But
Fuck, bro.
To play devil's advocate, low key though, that's although it can get tiring, and I agree with that. Similar to like seeing LWO versus Legado all the time, or seeing the whole, seeing Bianca versus Damage Control, like because we saw Bianca versus Damage Control for literally like 2 years. It can get tiring. It's one of those situations where it's like granted, yes, they're still in the same fight. They're on TV, and they're on TV against a popular or high on the card.
Yeah, they're still being used. He's still being like, so he's favored. It's not like he's a good like worker.
Like, I'd rather beef with Bloodline for a year than beef with Final Testament for a month. And that's not a knock on Final Testament.
Man, that's a bar.
It's not a knock, but it's like, it's the fucking Bloodline. Like, who they're attached to, just even being in the same ring as Paul Heyman is a rub. Or just even being in the same ring as a Roman or a Rock. That's a rub. My
issue isn't with LA Knight.
Yeah.
Because LA Knight's, his character and his stock is going.
Yeah.
It's just Bloodline stock. Bloodline with no Roman is like fucking Bulls with no Jordan. Like, it's rough. Even though they get pretty far without Jordan. But the point being is that you watch for, this person. Better comparison would have been fucking Cleveland with no LeBron. That's how I feel right now.
The Bulls was right. No, the Bulls was cool because essentially Solo's going to be D Rose. And Tama's going to be Joakim Noah. And then Tonga Loa is going to be either Boozer or maybe Jimmy Butler. I
don't know. Either way, it's like they don't have enough character stock to like carry this. I'm telling you, maybe they were right with like, the whole Jacob Fatu thing. Maybe Jacob was supposed to be inside the group and that would have got your charisma up a little bit. But Solo, it's just, he had it last week. This week, it just wasn't there this week.
He didn't have any lines. Yeah, to be fair, he didn't have any lines this week that I remember.
But we should continue to push that though. It's right. Like, okay, we got him talking last week. This week, we got to keep following up. He got a haircut.
He had some lines, but it was to Paul. And yeah,
it's like we stop losing momentum, bro. You can't keep regurgitating the same shit for me, bro. I thought this is different. It's supposed to be the Paul Levesque era, and we have gotten little new things here and there. But the Bloodline thing, if you're going to carry that out for Roman and for Rock, two of the biggest superstars who are not being a part of it right now, we need something crazy to keep us invested.
Right. That's how I feel. And I think a part of that is because Jimmy, we don't know how serious Jimmy's injury is. I mean, it could be at work, but I think a part of that is Jimmy not being fully available, because I believe that this was the moment for Jimmy to like finally get his solo arc, similar to what Jay got after they finally split. I hear everything you're saying, and I don't think there's a single wrong thing that you said. But the only thing is that I feel like we should just let it play out a little more, because like last week surprised us with what Solo said, and the week before that slightly surprised us. And this week they either plateaued or maybe even regress. I feel like we got to let it play out and see like what happens with Jimmy, and then also see what happens with this King of the Ring shit and how Jay possibly gets involved. But obviously, sure, Roman and Rock are super part-timers.
Next week.
Yeah, we might not see. I don't expect to see one of them, if not both, until August. So that means Solo and these two newbies / maybe Jimmy have to carry this, and also Heyman have to carry this shit.
But nobody said shit. This nigga over here screeching and shit. He ain't said a word. And this nigga telling us he's talking. Yeah. I gotta find that clip.
Bro, when I saw that shit on Twitter before, like at work, I thought I literally thought every single one of them was like dubbed. It was like, the internet is fucking with me. This is not what happens.
There's no way.
And then I watched
this nigga's getting hyped up. And then like fuck. And like there's a camera angle that they do before his match with LA Knight, and like they shoot it from like the high top angle. And you look at him like, damn, this nigga's small too. So now he's small, walking around making these noises. It does not help the character, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, I feel it.
We get the LA Knight versus Tama match. Yeah, that was fine. LA Knight has a pop-up power slam that was really good, but there's a face buster by Tama that secures the win.
Yeah, it's
there was no name for it yet.
There's no name, but yeah, it's pretty much R-Truth's move, Little Jimmy. Or if you're playing 2K, there's another name for it that I do not remember. But
I need to get 2K just so I can go through the moves again. That's how I learned all.
I mean, get 2K just so that you and David could have matches. I'm telling you, bro. Online is fun, bro. We could have some triple threats. We could do 3-way tags. It's fun.
I saw niggas getting fucked up in the tag team. I don't want to be no parts of that, bro. I'm a GM nigga. We can GM all day.
I mean, you could be a special referee versus me and DT. That's fine too.
Oh, I'm biased. I don't count. I count slow.
That's fine too. Let me get my shit off. That's fine. Okay, where we at?
Contract signing with Logan. We got the Logan Paul Cody contract signing.
Yes.
Promo was good. Cody was addressing a lot of shit that people have said on the internet. You know, he's a tourist. You're not free. Why are you here?
Yeah.
You got your little spiel is done. You can do a flip. Woohoo, we like you. Yeah. It's time for you to go home now.
Yeah, it's time for you to go home.
Get out the show.
Let me take that title off of you, big dog. You know, let you do your shit.
Get that too while on your way out.
And Logan is showing his shit. Like, there's a reason why, even though he's only had 12 matches, there's a reason why this is his second world title match. And it's not only because he shows out in the ring, not only because he's super famous and he could take whatever title or, you know, to his podcast or Prime stuff or whatever, but like, he's really good on this mic. Like, he's really good. Like, Cody, he's really good. Like, he held his own. He did not get overshadowed. Cody still barred him up in areas, but Logan held his fucking own. Like, he was not owned. Like, Logan held his, like, Logan's really good. We can hate him as a person as much as we all want, but if you're a wrestling fan, like, we have to admit that, like, this dude is talented, bruh. Like, he's really good on this fight. What he was saying was really fucking cool. And just like his mannerisms and the way he's playing off the crowd, to where he knows when to take his breaks because the crowd is quote unquote getting to his head and interrupting him. And he knows like when to shit talk them. And he's like, yeah, you're saying the same shit everyone else does. He does some good ass crowd work. And then we get the point where it's like, we got the swerve. Because we talked about it last week and I was like, man, I don't think they're going to do the title for title. It wasn't confirmed. Cody was heavily leaning towards it, but Logan was kind of eh. But yeah, we get the swerve to where, yeah, Logan's like, hey, I didn't agree to none of this shit I read. And I got my lawyer here with me. He didn't look at it. He rips this shit up and he's like, this is the fucking contract. This is what you're going to sign, type of thing.
So do we automatically consider this a win for Cody? Because we know damn well Logan's not fucking getting this belt off of him. Is it not a wash because we already know where this is going to where, and I say that in the sense of like, had it been for the double belt, you'd have been like, okay, well, even then we still know that Cody is not losing that, but now you know Cody's gonna have double champion. But then I think also we wanted to get away from double champions. We didn't want to have that situation again. So is it a wash that we already know how the outcome is going to like go? We just are waiting for the finish at this point.
I'm going to say no. And the reason I'm going to say no is the same reason that I liked Backlash. It's the same reason that I liked Elimination Chamber. Both those PLEs were pretty predictable. But when I watched them, I still had a good ass time. Everyone still performed really good. It was still a good ass pay-per-view. The crowd still reacted to it. So it's like I didn't expect Cody to lose against AJ, but that match was fucking pretty goddamn good, and I enjoyed it. So it's like, it's one of those things where I feel like we're in a new age enough to where if it's predictable, just because it's predictable, just because the show might be predictable or the outcomes might be predictable, it's not going to make it a bad show if they actually deliver. Like if this happened in 2020, I'd be like, yeah, this is a fucking, like, what's the point of this? Could there be a swerve? Absolutely. Like Logan could still win, and that could still be a swerve, and then Cody could win it back just so they can get a cheap 2-time if they wanted to. They could do that. I don't think they're going to. So in my mind, Cody. Man. Yeah. So in my mind, I know Cody's going to win. So let's just say that in my mind, I think Cody's going to win. That's where we'll place my bet. But that's not going to.
You knew that Cody wasn't going to lose against AJ either, and AJ and them had to fucking.
It was a banger, and I fucking enjoyed the match. Like I knew Rhea wasn't going to lose to Nia. That match was still fucking fire. Like all of Elimination Chamber was pretty fucking predictable. That whole card was fire. Pretty much all of Backlash was predictable. We knew Cocoa Butter Combat Club was going to win, but that match was still fucking fire, and we still got to see Jay do some shit that we'd never seen her really do. You know?
Okay, side note. Logan has been at all the Saudi events. It was the Roman title match 2 years ago. It was Ray last year, and now he's doing Cody this year. This motherfucker has been at all the big ones.
Well, yeah, that's because he's an attraction star. You know, similar to like a Omos or Lesnar, or
what is the pool? Anywho, yes, good promo from Cody. He didn't get barred up. I feel it was a very even exchange. We didn't get the Nia versus Jade match.
Oh, real quick, I would say, real quick, when Logan brought up the whole like, oh, you're gonna sign this contract, it's only for your title. Nick Aldis said some really cool shit.
He did.
Again, he's my favorite GM.
Not playing your shit.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not playing this shit. Like this is some bullshit. Like this is not what we agreed to. Like Nick Aldis was in his fucking bag, and Cody's like, hey man, I know you. Like I seen you in NWA. You know, just calm down. Let me handle this. You're relieved of your duty. You know. So it was cool to see. It's been cool the last couple of weeks to see Aldis get show more emotion because he's been upset with what's going on with the bloodline, and then what Logan Paul has done is like,
brand, yeah.
He's like, yeah, no, saying all to say, just like it's cool to see an authority figure with power, but not abuse power, and they're like they're just trying to be as neutral as possible. But then when shit goes down, they're like, oh well, hold on, man. Like it, yeah. Nick Aldis' little bit was pretty cool, but yeah, Cody calms him down. Aldis leaves. He relieves him of his duty. Logan spits some more fire. Essentially, it goats Cody into signing. He's like, all right, you want me to sign this shit? I'll sign it. But, man, you're not leaving here with this title, bro, essentially. So, yeah, and that was pretty much it. And then that's when we get into the Nia Jax promo, which she had a really good promo. And, you know, Jade's cool, Jade's strong, but she ain't me. Shit like that. And then we get Nia versus Jade, which, again, was a nice, surprising showcase. We have seen Jade in a light that we have not seen when she was in her previous stint at the other promotion. She's getting better and better. It was some good powerhouse shit. They were trading like powerhouse spots. There's a point in time, there's a point where Nia yells at, because they were in Jacksonville for this show. There's a point where Nia yells at Jade's daughter, "Your mom sucks."
No,
she doesn't. What sets up Jade for a nice ass super kick. But yeah, essentially Nia goats Jade into hitting her with a chair, which leads to a DQ finish, and
trash.
Nia wins.
Trash. I knew they booked themselves into a corner with this because it was like, how? What do you do? But I didn't know it was going to be this. I didn't know we were going to do the babyface hits the heel with the chair and gets a DQ. And the reason being that they said, it was like, oh, I'll do it again because you don't say nothing to my daughter. Cool. Okay. But it was like, why? Why this particular way to do the DQ?
Honestly, it's having the daughter there makes it more palatable. And another reason I think they did it this way is because I feel like the Bianca match is probably going to end in a DQ, and they didn't want to have both Jade and Bianca lose the same way because I think Tiffany's going to interfere.
You can't have Queen of the Ring matches ended in DQ though, like that. I get it because it's still like you still part of the tournament or whatever, but it just feels like a slight like blemish to me, not to anybody else, but just to me, it just feels weird.
No, I understand that. My last counter is just to be fair. It's the only DQ in both tournaments thus far.
True, but it's also it's a WWE thing to kind of like help them get out of like tough situations and tough booking.
Yeah, no, it's lazy.
Like, oh fuck,
it's lazy booking.
Throw the chair.
Yeah, no, absolutely, it's lazy booking. But yeah, it's just like, oh,
wouldn't have been that bad had Nia got her first. Nia gave Jade her first like L. Is it too soon for Jade to take a loss?
No, no,
it wouldn't have hurt her. I don't think it would have hurt her. I think that like it would have been like, yo, like. Just come back and get me. I got you this time. Maybe Nia was like distracted the ref and did something, or what? Maybe Tiff had interfered in this match and distracted Jade, and Jade took the roll up or whatever.
Honestly,
I don't think it's that bad.
No, it wouldn't have been that bad because no, I agree with you. It wouldn't have been that bad because Carmelo takes his first loss. Ilja took his first loss.
Yeah,
there would have been a way to do it. Honestly, I would have used the darter. Also, I would have used the darter as a distraction. Nia throws her into the fucking ring post and then hits her with a Samoan drop or something. And then it's like, oh, she was distracted because she was trying to protect her daughter or something. Like they could have used the daughter in a different way and not have it in with, oh, the baby face is she's just so emotional. She broke the rules. Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when like Jade ain't never picked up a chair yet before. Why does she need the chair? She's Jade fucking Cargill. Like, what? No, bro.
Yeah, no. The story they were trying to tell, it didn't come off that good. The story they were trying to tell was, she was disrespecting my child. She tried to hit me with this weapon. I caught it, so I'm gonna hit her with the weapon because I'm just so emotional that I forget about the rules. I agree with you. I agree with you to an extent. Like, no, they could have still used the daughter and book it better to where Nia could have got a clean win. Like. Maybe she even runs her into her daughter. So,
there's other ways we could have did this.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But they didn't, they just had to figure out a way to do it because they didn't want to give Jade and similar to how we're not going to get Gunther versus Ilja in a random ass King of the Ring match on a random ass Raw. They're not going to give us a random fucking Nia. They're not going to give us Jade versus Bianca on a fucking random ass SmackDown.
That's my issue with WWE sometimes. In contrary to like AEW, like AEW's not afraid to give you the matches up front. They're not afraid to give you Kenny versus Daniel day fucking one. Like you don't have to be you don't have to hog your good talent. Give it to us. At some point, it may not be a thing. You may not be able to give it to us when you want to give it to us. And at that time that you do give it to us, then the superstar momentum may not be the same. You'll never be able to catch the energy that you had the first time going for it the second time. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you don't, though. Like, give it to us, bro. It's okay. It's right here. Your fans are dedicated fans. They love your product. Give them what they want to see. And be cool with it.
I see exactly what you mean. I think there's pros and cons to both because, to me, I think there's pros and cons to both because sometimes WWE waits too long. But in my opinion, AEW goes too quickly. Like, there's a lot of dream matches they burnt through just real quick just to have that dream match. And it was like, if you built a story around it, it would have hit a little better. But on the other side of the spectrum, it's like if you wait too long, you can get the injuries or other like there's a balance to it. Like for me, like for example, as great as Kenny and Bryan was, that could have waited another month or so. It didn't have to happen. That didn't have to be Bryan's third match. It could have waited a little bit and built a story to it. It was a fire ass match. It was 5 stars. It could have built to it, but. It ended up panning out good, but not all their dream matches pan out good all the way.
But you also give me a story and then give me Jimmy versus Jay at Mania, and it doesn't pay out at all. So it's like
they don't got a bag though. That's a different.
Different.
They ain't got the same bag.
It's the story.
It's the story.
I'm invested in the story. You talking about brother versus brother? You gave me a story for fucking 26 weeks. and it didn't pan out. Now I'm pissed off. I was emotionally invested and got this shit. Shout out to them. I don't have no beef with the Usos, but damn, bro, I'm invested. Or you just give me what I want to see from the jump, yo. Like
there's there has to be an asterisk with that one because we talked about it before the match even happened. Their bag was not that deep. These niggas have the same 5 moves. And
look, man, I just want my plate of food now. I don't want to wait later when like it could be good. I know it's good right now. Let me eat, yo.
I'm in the middle. I think there's a balance to it. I think sometimes WWE waits too long, and I think AEW goes too quickly. On some Goldilocks shit, we just gotta meet in the middle. Just give. We
will meet in the middle
because like
I love that we can meet in the middle.
Yeah, like we talk about it all the time. I like a story. Just give me a small story. It doesn't even have to. It doesn't have to be in depth. It doesn't have to be 3 chapters. It doesn't need to be a fucking chronological like book order. But sometimes, just doing a dream match just to do it is like, oh, I can't wait to see this match. All right, let's just do it next week. To me, that's like, what's the point? I love
that shit, bro. What? Don't stop. I hate it. Don't make me wait for something. Like, I get it. Some things are good with story. Like, I wouldn't have wanted Mercedes to do Willow right then and there. I'm okay with that. But when you got 2 great fucking talents, go ahead. Go. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. Y'all know how to already orchestrate this shit. Go. With Jay, we could have waited a little bit longer. And we have waited because she got signed in November. It's fucking May. She could have had the match with Nia, took the L in some kind of way, and we'd have been fine. Anywho, let's go.
All right. We're at the end. Okay, so we are in. Oh wait. Okay, yeah. Jay lost. After she lost, they brawl for like 5 minutes until they get pulled apart. So they both still look strong. It's just that Jade looks stupid. It was bad booking. Jade looks stupid. That is what it is. After that, we get attacked. Theory and Waller come on commentary, which they're doing great. They're glazing the shit out of each other. But either way, they're both actually doing really good on commentary. We get a good tag team match versus Legado with Humberto and Angel versus DIY. Santos and Elektra, they get ejected because Elektra helps cheat, but before they can even like fully leave the ramp, that's when DIY capitalizes on the win with the meet in the middle. So DIY wins, and fucking Legato's like, what happened? Well, you got caught cheating. So after that, we get an AJ promo, and AJ's like, where do we go from here? I lost to Cody. I was this close. I just lost to Randy last week. That's a good question. Where do we go from here? I guess I'll go to I guess I'm going to walk in Aldis's office next week, and I'm going to ask him the same shit. Where do I go from here? So we'll see what that's about. Then we get another backstage promo with Bayley. I don't remember what she's saying, but essentially Piper, Niven, and Chelsea Green interrupt her and saying that it's Bayley's fault that Piper didn't advance in the tournament. So then Bayley's like, I'll fight one of you bitches next week. Probably Chelsea. So that should be good. And then we get the last match, and you're gonna have to take over the last match because at this point I was eating and I was like, I need to go to sleep. I know how it ends. I know how the match ends, but I didn't write anything else down. So.
It's Randy versus Carmelo Hayes, and everything was going smooth until that man smacked his head.
Mm-hmm.
He hit the whole Carmelo licked the hand, smacked the back of Randy's head, and from there it was like you ever play an RPG and you were severely underleveled?
Yeah,
it was just like that. That man came out and just dog walked him. It was like a welcome to the league moment for Carmelo Hayes. Mm-hmm. There were some spots where Carmelo was showing his shit and whatnot, but Randy was just on old school Apex Randy time where it was go time. You can kind of see he was having fun with it. There was a couple like backdrops to the table. Mello reverses one of the backdrops and lands on his feet, and he's kind of taunting Randy. And Randy's like, "Oh, you want to taunt on the table? Or go ahead, just take this punch to the back of the calf, straight down." Randy was on demon time this match, man. Mello tries to go for a fucking punt kick, which I ain't seen in a fucking while. I was kind of excited about that. Oh shit, you want to punt kick the Viper? Didn't necessarily work that way. this is what sets up the big moment RKO that people seen, where Melo's going off the ropes. He's doing some kind of springboard move, falls straight into a fucking RKO. What Randy fixes his wedding band before he pins him. 1, 2, 3. It's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Dope fucking match. Great fucking welcome to the league moment. Because last week we saw Carmelo was kind of low. He was feeling himself, a little cocky. He's like, yeah, this is what the NBA is about, quote unquote. Nah, you're in the ring with the Viper. It was a good showing by WWE for Randy, and like, Randy still, he liked this, and great job for fucking Carmelo because he sold it really fucking well too. It looked like a rookie versus like a vet, and that's how it's supposed to feel. This is
Right.
Randy. He's been 20 years in. This is how it's supposed to look. Great match. Afterwards, the Bloodline music hits, and you see Solo, Tama, and Loa come out, and Randy's like, oh, now I'm getting interrogated by the Bloodline. Y'all coming out, y'all intimidating me? No, let me tell you how this is going to go. Next week in Saudi, I'm going to give you the 3 most dangerous letters, and then we're going to see how this shit's all going to play out. Randy standing on business, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm excited to see it. Like, just to see where the story goes, not for the Bloodline, and also just seeing like how you stop Randy and what he looks like now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence, but I think Randy. I don't know. I'm still on the fence, but I think Randy's gonna win. Maybe Jimmy finally shows back up.
And they're in Saudi next week, which is interesting too. Like they're kind of, it makes sense because the pay-per-view is that fucking Saturday. So like I just slipped my mind that I forgot that they do SmackDown inside Saudi too.
Well, this is the first time they've done SmackDown in Saudi, because usually they, at least to my knowledge, because usually they tape the show before.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. So to my knowledge, this is the first SmackDown in Saudi.
And they're doing it how they did the Backlash, where it's like it was in France, the SmackDown was in France, and they're going to go straight into the pay-per-view that following morning. Yeah. It's going to be a very interesting week for sure. Yeah. And them Saudi shows is early. We'll see. We'll see how this shit goes, man.
Yeah, man. And Double or Nothing.
Fuck. Yeah. All right, people. That was the show. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. A little bit longer. We'll work on it next time, but we had a lot to talk about today. It was a good episode. I love this episode. We will catch you guys in the next one. It's been real. We'll see you in episode 18.
Yes, follow us on Monday Night Wave on X/Twitter. Follow Monday Night Wave on TikTok. I'm Heroic Rager on most platforms.
Loner Beats.
Absolutely. Yeah. Follow us, love us, like, subscribe, share to your friends. Please.
If you made it to this far, you got to support it.
Hopefully.
You can't go through 3 hours of content and you not supporting. Come on, man. Yeah. You made it 3 hours of this. Come on, drop your boy a like.
Just like your mother. She loves my Audible chocolate voice.
Free.
Oh, yeah. YouTube is free. Still. Unless you pay for
I would much rather you subscribe on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, please.
1,000%. Yeah, but that's it. We're going to catch you guys later. It's been real. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Too sweet.